You start accusing me of sympathizing for Hitler, and I say I don't, and you start flipping out. You just make up shit about my friends, about the server that I spent most of my time on. 23 people said what you said isn't true.
All right, dude. Fine. Can we move on?
Can I address something quickly?
Yeah.
Where were we? I can't remember how I wanted to jump into it, but essentially, like, I mean, loose lips sink ships. The accusations that you're throwing out, Lyin, and the wild way that you're doing it actually makes the problem appear to be bigger than what, or worse than what it actually is. So, I mean, you're familiar with the notion of no such thing as bad news. So if you just keep talking about this and pointing at different groups saying Nazis, 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 and everywhere you see a Nazis, then we're going to have a big problem because other people are going to be wilding out doing something similar. And this whole like action of groupthink and a group association and guilt by group association is highly problematic. I don't think it's like, I don't know, man, it's not conducive to creating a community if you're going to call people out like this and just associate whole groups like that, right? So that's all I'm requesting, as well as, like, I mean, would you be inclined to say that you're going to do this into the future? You're going to maintain that statement into the future? That's kind of like my biggest thing is, like, you know, if someone stabs you, it's only a concern if they say that they're going to do it in the future. Like, if they accidentally do it, you know, it's all about intent and all the rest of it, right? So, I mean, are you going to maintain that statement, Lyin?
What statement? That there's Nazi apologists in these servers and it's rampant? Yes. I'm not backing down from it, bro.
Interesting. So, like, you're just going to go around telling people this sort of, like,
I don't think it's rampant.
Yeah.
It's definitely not rampant. That's not accurate. Not here. I'm not talking about anywhere else on this server. I mean, it's not rampant. There are, I mean, because I've known just with the moderation side of things, like what you're saying, Lyin. I mean, it's like less than 1% at most.
Like, most people seem to understand the nuance of the conversation, and I'll sit here and like, you know, I can bring up things like, from my understanding, that animal rights were first brought in, like, you know, the first country in the world to do that was under the Nazi occupation in Germany, right? Well, it's not an occupation, but you get what I'm saying. So I can say that I mean, that's a really good thing. They put into, like, instantiation on a national level, animal rights. And, you know, am I then now a Nazi sympathizer? Because I think that's the thing makes the world and all countries follow. Because I'm going to have a real problem if I can't freely, openly talk about that. And, you know, acknowledging the nuance of the conversation. I'm going to be, like, really on my toes now of the way I got to talk.
Have you noticed that even if you do like a hand gesture that looks like a Nazi salute, they're saying you're a Nazi sympathizer?
I know. It's like, this is the issue. Like, we're just getting, like, these accusations are flying all over the place.
Yeah, we can't just accuse people baselessly. We should bring some sort of evidence, right?
But I do understand. I mean, hold on. I do understand Lyin when, especially, I don't know if only Puerto Rican do this a lot. We usually over exaggerate, even though it might be one person. but there might be one person we'll say is a million people there saying something that is, you know, could just be one.
Yeah, it's like maybe 10 or 15 total, and it's like everyone. It's like the whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I already confessed to that. Right? I exaggerated. I used sarcasm and hyperbole, but he thinks I'm lying about it, and I can't help that. Another thing is that the only ones that came forward to back me up were Globers, bro. Like Left Lane and Jesse and others that were in my DMs. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, I've been noticing this too. And then Tora, like, nobody else is willing to help me out with this, because I'm not the only one that's observing this. But now I'm labeled that's not true. That's not going on. Come on, guys.
There's even a T-shirt. There's even a T-shirt about it. Like all that, it says like all these things, the same things. It says like Hitler was a good guy. No, there was no planes on 9/11. Oh yeah, and by the way, the Earth is flat. So I mean, obviously, it's cutting out there somehow. So
yeah, I mean, look, I'm not. I wasn't even saying that this isn't the case, but my original point was, if Lyon's gonna frame me as, if you don't say Hitler's a bad guy right now, and if you hesitate at all, that means that you're saying Hitler's a great guy. Do you guys realize that's kind of like a rapey statement? Like, you have to say what I want you to say, or else I'm gonna frame you as this horrible thing.
Yeah, no, that's wrong. No, I agree. That's a loaded.
Oh, how the table has turned. Dude, you did it to me the other day as well with Trump. What the hell are you talking about?
Wait, what am I talking about? Tori just agreed.
Yeah, you did the same thing with Trump the other day.
What did I do?
Yeah, you were saying things happen often. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, you're saying that if he tells you that you did this, and if you don't say this right now, then you're pretty much a sympathizer. Yada yada yada. But you did the same thing to me against Trump.
What did I ask you with Trump?
But you phrased it in the same way. Well, he doesn't answer that fast. I mean, he must be a Trump supporter.
No,
he must be a Trump. Blah, blah, blah. Dude, it was the same shit. Just the table was turning.
No, I was there for that. That's totally incorrect, Elbow.
Whoa, was it? How was it? How was it?
Yeah, that's totally incorrect. I remember.
So he wasn't saying that.
No,
so he wasn't saying if I don't because I didn't answer.
What does the past have to do with him?
No, what I'm saying.
Present moment.
What I'm saying is, it's as the table is turning, that he's getting the same treatment, and then he's feeling a little upset about it.
Okay, so Beast, what actually happened? Because I don't even remember this.
No, it was a little bit a while ago when basically we were telling Elbow, like, why are you drinking the Trump Kool-Aid, essentially? Like, do you think he's a good guy? And then the conversation went from there. Essentially, me pointing out all the different things that Trump has done to show that he's not a good guy. And when asked direct questions, Elbow just went silent.
Yeah, so there's a difference between asking someone their position and demanding they take a position. Otherwise, you're going to frame them with a horrible, like, straw man position.
Yeah, he went silent to avoid you went silent to avoid the question, bro. You just didn't want to answer.
I told you I didn't have a position. I told you I didn't have a position. And you still, yeah, I did. We could definitely go for that. I definitely said I don't have a position. I really haven't looked into that part.
Okay, so if I say I didn't say Hitler's a good guy, and then I say I didn't say Hitler's a good guy, and then Lyin says, say Hitler's a bad guy, say it, don't hesitate, say it, and I say I didn't say Hitler's a good guy. He's like, all right, argument over then. All right, who else wants to confess? Like, you realize that's framing someone. That's framing someone. Dude, stop trying to clip me. You just did this with Beast. Relax. Okay. That's a false dilemma, right? That's saying if you don't agree with my argument, then I'm going to frame you as a negative thing. I'm going to frame you as something horrible, as something that I consider horrible, right? That's just a very tactical thing to do. It's called a veiled threat, and you shouldn't do that to people. It's kind of rapey.
But you didn't answer the question because you said he asked you to say Hitler's a bad guy, but Hitler's not a good guy.
Okay, when did you last stop beating your wife? Can you answer the question? When did you last stop beating your wife? You can't.
That's not really saying that Hitler's. Right? That's not even the same. Saying that Hitler's.
A loaded question, man.
I mean, I heard that. Hold on, I heard that clip. I heard that part of it. So, Lyin, I mean, would you just like agree that was probably a bit much, or like a bit overly dramatic, or something? Like saying like, you know what I mean? Or it's like a loaded. Well, it's like a loaded question, and I mean, you can agree that's like overly confrontational and kind of putting someone on the spot, like that part. Like, would you agree?
I was absolutely putting him on the spot. That was my intention. Right?
Yo, I take the L here.
It shouldn't be difficult, right, to denounce Hitler's behavior and call him a bad guy. But they refuse to do that. And like when it comes to Trump, no problem. And nobody has a problem calling Trump a bad guy. When it comes to Hitler, I don't. You're putting me in the spot. It's a false dilemma. Like what's going on, guys?
Okay, wait, I can answer that. So the reason why it's a false dilemma is because your position was Hitler's a bad guy. Anyone who has any other position is a Hitler supporter and is saying Hitler's a great guy. So then if you ask someone, is Hitler a bad guy? They have to say yes. Otherwise, they're either conceding the argument or being pro-Hitler by your framework, which is exactly what you did. And then my position was neutral. And you pointed that out, by the way. My position was in reference to what? What do we consider a bad guy? You said, oh, you're playing neutral as a way to defend Hitler. That's literally what you said. So being neutral in your weird framework was defending Hitler in some weird way. So like it's a very disgusting thing to do to somebody, to like threaten that you're gonna like attack their reputation if they don't agree with you, and then if they do agree with you, they're wrong. That's retarded.
All right, but you have no problem saying it about Trump, but with Hitler, it's a problem. Why is that? Why is that?
That's non-sequitorial to the actual conversation we're talking about. You're just throwing that out there as a red herring.
No, it's not. This is indicative. This is indicative of my point, right? Because even if Hitler did good things, at the end of the day, Hitler's a bad guy, and I have no problem. I don't hesitate saying that. You guys all hesitate saying that. That's indicative of what my point originally was, that most people that hesitate to say this are Nazi apologists.
All right, I'll grant the non sequitur. I'll answer it. Trump's alive in the same time that I'm alive. I wasn't alive in the same time Hitler's alive. That's the most propagandized war in the world, for one. For two, if someone doesn't say Hitler's a bad guy, it doesn't mean they're saying Hitler's a great guy. That's retarded. That's a false dilemma. That's a veiled threat. You're threatening to attack their reputation like you do. You attack people's reputations when they disagree with you. You say they're gaslighting, they're projecting, they're Hitler supporters if they're neutral. That's ridiculous, man. You can't do that. And then you lie about what you said.
To Lyon's point, can we just, instead of dancing around instead of just being neutral, can we just state what good things brings him up to neutral?
Answer me. Do you have to say Hitler's bad or Hitler's good, or can there be more nuance to an argument?
I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but if we're gonna get past that point, and Lyin already admitted he was being hyperbolic, his real problem is that you won't disavow Hitler. So I think he should just directly ask the questions. What good things about Hitler bring him up to neutral for you?
Do I have to disavow Hitler, or else you're going to call me a Hitler supporter, or can I?
No, I didn't say that, but you can make me out like Lyin if you want to.
I can't finish talking. I was asking you a question. Do I have to disavow Hitler, or else you're going to say that I'm a Hitler supporter, or can I disavow Hitler on my own volition without a veiled threat? Do you understand the question?
I'm not going to call you anything. I'm just asking you direct questions.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about Hitler. From what I know, he was appointed by the Rothschilds, and his dad's name was Alois Scheckelgraber. So for all I know that he was Jewish, I don't have any problem with Hitler. I don't think Hitler was a bad guy. I don't think Hitler was a good guy. I don't know anything about the guy. For all I know, he was just put in there a position of power.
So your position is to doubt what most people would think is true about him.
My position is to doubt the exact same historical narrative that Lyin doubts and not make a positive claim on something that I don't know anything about.
Okay.
Man, I need to interject for just a moment. Been listening for a while. Lyin, I think you come from a position of just being like you're kind of like a scholar of history, where a lot of your positions are very vivid for you. And a lot of people here, maybe they have, heard about the Jews, and it's kind of a meme. And there's a lot of history about Hitler, which, I don't know if you noticed, is a long time ago, probably 100 years ago, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, we might have some like ideas or heard some things, or maybe know a couple facts like he just listed. But as far as like when it comes to coming to a conclusion, especially about a historical thing, like we would much rather be like more revisionist, whether or not it comes to the same conclusion that you came to. Like with flat Earth, instead of just assuming something, you kind of build off a foundation of logic and understanding and research. Whereas a lot of people probably haven't really delved into it as much as you have. Like if you came to me and say, was Hitler a bad guy? I would be like, well, first of all, my brain would trigger and I would just think, okay, loaded question. Like, okay, obviously loaded question. I'm like, well, and I would say, what do you mean bad guy? Like bad how? Bad, what is bad for you? Like some people think cilantro is bad. Like bad in what way? What are you talking about?
That's
here?
insane.
Like bad because he gassed people, bad because he liked dogs, or like it's just.
That's insane, Riggs. That was my exact position. So now Lyin has to call you a Hitler defender. He has to say you're pretending to be neutral to defend Hitler.
I don't have enough position on Hitler to want to make a claim, but not making a claim doesn't make me a supporter.
Nah,
right?
bro, you said he's better. Can I respond to Riggs?
Wait,
no, because I appreciate what Riggs had to say.
That's my exact position. So now Lyin has to say you're playing neutral to defend Hitler. which is what he said to me when I made that position.
Hold on. So I appreciate what Riggs had to say. This all started off with, first, I was just making an observation, right? That there are Nazi apologists, Hitler apologists, right? So if you justify his actions, that makes you a Nazi apologist. I don't hate you for that, bro. Like, I like Blob, I like Andrew, I like whoever. You know what I'm saying? That Andy talks about it a lot. He justifies Hitler's actions. My point is that this exists, right? And we should talk about it and stop acting like this doesn't exist. And then eventually it reduced to me trying to put you on the spot, right? With this like
what
false
actions
dilemma.
am I supporting? Like, what do you mean, me? Like me?
No.
What actions am I supporting?
No, I'm saying a Nazi apologist is somebody who justifies Hitler's action, right? Or not
Justifies.
Nazism.
Well, I would argue that most people, even in these rooms, dude, don't even have like a clear understanding of what actions he did, because most of it's in dispute.
Yep.
So
right, and
I think that's part of the problem, is that we're, like I said, like, because of flat Earth and other things related to it, we've had to like take a new sort of like imperialism. Like, what's the word again?
Empiricism.
It's the way that people, like, the way that like, we have to like form a new epistemology, right? To way that we like navigate facts and information. Not to say that history as a whole didn't happen, but maybe that there are some angles or some conveniences that afforded like these. Clearly, there's like a controller faction. And in which ways do these narratives benefit them? Which ones are true? Which ones aren't? How do I navigate? Like, maybe Hitler was just an actor. You know what I mean? Like, was he really a bad guy, or was he, basically forced to because of trauma and, all kinds of other things? I don't know. I couldn't make the decision. I've heard bad things that he's done. I've heard bad things that I've done. Never happened. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to, I don't know. I think what you should do, man, is, my personal conclusion. I think maybe you're going a little too far. I'm like pretty keen on people. This idea, even in hyperbole or sarcasm, I spent 2 years at Ether Cosmology, and yes, I'm a little salty too that I'm not there anymore. But I didn't get the sense that it was like there's this big Hitler Nazi thing. I like.
Thank you, Riggs.
There might be one or two memers, or like the Jews thing, which is also mostly a meme. I mean, I don't see anybody out there killing the Jews.
Dude, there's probably more of them on here, actually, because we have to moderate and different
and
things.
And that's the thing, like, these aren't, this isn't sympathetic.
Then there is on that server, I'm just saying, because there's people on here that this type stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not sympathetic. I think maybe you're maybe a little triggered about it. I don't know. Maybe you know too much about history, and that when you think about those people that don't denounce X, Y, and Z, that you immediately go to a place in your mind. I don't know. I don't see the sympathetic thing that you're talking about, unless you can be specific.
Yeah. Let me explain. So it's
you're
not that like
overgeneralizing and you're using a broad brush.
It's not that like we spend time like talking about Nazis and backing up Nazis. That's not my point. My point is that there are people that have a disdain for the Jewish people, right? There's constant Jewish mockery, Jewish jokes, right? And it's that in combination with justifying Hitler's action, right? Saying that, it's because of the Jews, we're promoting, homosexual ideology and porn, and then that justifies Hitler's action for, conquering Europe. Like, it's things like that, bro. That's why I'm talking.
No.
Are you saying you witnessed that behavior on Ether Cosmology?
Yeah, like
I've seen
stuff.
It.
Like, shitting on Jews, which I let it slide, bro. Like, there's one thing about. There's one thing. Hold on. There's one thing about
ADL, dude.
There's one thing.
ADL.
Yeah, it used to be called ADL, and I love Shane, dude. I love Shane, but you got it, dude. Anyways, you got to understand this, right? That there's one thing about exposing the Jewish people for their atrocities, their abominations, their usury, and on another thing to blanket label all Jews, like I did with Ether Cause. I blanket labeled everybody, right? It's one thing with blank label all Jews and then group them into this, and then
but no one's doing that on either cause, bro. Like no one's doing that.
You're one of them. You're one of them, dude.
Yeah, I'm one of what?
You're one of them that makes fun of the Jews. And
hang on, man. Hang on. Be specific. Wait. Pause, everyone. Everyone pause. Everyone pause. Lyin, you made me answer your question yesterday. You said, say it right now. Say, do you think Hitler was a great man or not? Don't hesitate. So he's one of what? Be specific.
Yeah, what am I one of?
He's one you're one that has done a lot of,
What have I done, bro?
You said a lot of things about Jews, bro.
Dude,
come on.
Beasticles is Jewish.
Yeah.
I know he's Jewish, bro. I understand that. I know that.
Hilarious.
I know that.
It's so strange.
Now I'm delusional, right? Now I'm delusional. Like you've never made he's a self-hating Jew. That's fine.
Gio,
you've never made any comments about. You've never made any jokes and any caricatures about.
How did
Jewish
this kike
people?
get in?
Yeah,
here?
dude. I got my big hat on. All right, I can make jokes about Jews all day. It doesn't matter. They're jokes. All right. What you're doing is actually virtue signaling and attacking people and slandering them. Stop.
I agree with the Jew.
Fine. That's whatever, dude.
You gotta
Not
stop.
to mention, man.
You're gonna play pretend like you've never said anything negative or derogatory about Jews in your life.
I just said it right now.
Right.
What are you talking about, dude?
Lyin, the thing that you're actually railing against is the sin that you also committed. Like it's kind of
you're bearing false witness right now. You're not being a good Christian at all. I'm actually mad about it, dude. You're bearing false witness. You're slandering. That's why I came
I'm gonna call you guys out. When I hear it, I'm gonna call you guys out in the future. That's all I'm gonna say from this point.
Good luck,
I
bro.
can see why a lot of our people though are going towards, not knowing if like Hitler was actually the evil guy they made him out to be. There's a giant cabal running the world right now, and we know they're Jewish, right? Yeah. They're controlling the media,
call
TV,
spade a spade.
The newspapers. Hold on. We know all this. Those people also got kicked out of hundreds of countries and regions throughout all of history. So you can see why people would be saying, and we don't trust history the way it's laid out, Andy. Anyways, you can see why some people might be, if Hitler was trying to stop these people from taking over the world or whatever kind of sick shit they are doing now, people try to give him props maybe because hey, I'd like to stop these guys right now that are running us into the ground.
Yeah, listen, Jeremy, I'm with you. This is a whole nuanced conversation, and I think that's what Galatrax is trying to point out, that this is a nuanced conversation. And Lyin, I don't think it's fair for you to do a broad paintbrush of all the people on either cause. No one gives a fuck about some mustache man, dude. Like, why are you doing this? It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I'm Jewish. I'm not a self-hating Jew. My mom's Jewish. She's bought into the whole narrative, but I love her to death. Like, it's hard to actually talk about these subjects without the propaganda just spewing out of them. Like, what do you mean 6 million Jews didn't die? What do you mean? When you try to talk about facts, people have an emotional reaction like you are doing right now, and it's not fair, bro. We should be able to have a nuanced conversation about this because we should be truthers. This is how
Lyin
seems
like the least emotional person in this conversation.
Well, he just said I'm one of them. He just said I'm one of what?
I didn't want to name drop you, but since you're here, might as well
name drop me, dog.
So you were one of them that I had in mind.
How about
and
you
a few
start
others,
listing it out now?
But the thing is, bro, like it's not. I already clarified this.
It's more vague, baseless accusations.
It's not just about clarifying the history, right, and trying to get the history straight, right, and I'm with you. They've embellished the narrative, right. Also, the numbers of exterminated Jews is also exaggerated. That doesn't make you a Hitler apologist.
I'm not a Hitler apologist. He's a bad dude. And then when Galatrax asks you in reference to what, he's making a point about bad comparative to what, right? He was a bad dude. He killed somebody. Yeah, Riggs made that same point. Listen, for me, my definition of bad is different than your definition of bad, right? Like, when you're trying to paint the entire server as like Hitler supporters or Hitler apologists or Nazi apologists, yeah, maybe there's a couple of eggs in there that are actually all aboard like that. And guess what? They get annoying. We're like, hey, dude, come on. Chill the fuck out. Like he wasn't this like savior, all right? He probably was a Rothschild and was probably a Jew himself. Like there's way more nuance to history, and you know that of all people, Lyin, you know this, bro. Like,
bro, and I
me and Galatrax
that's why we're airing it out.
Do you want to hear something crazy? Me and Galatrax were actually saying like, man, we should fight for Lyin to get unbanned, and then you pull this shit, dude. Like,
dude, I know that.
Why?
But after finding out that it wasn't just me that got banned, but a bunch of people got banned, I'm not gonna go beg to come back to somewhere where I'm not welcomed or wanted. It's like a girl that doesn't love you begging for her to love you. That's some cuck behavior. I'm not gonna go beg Alan on my knee. Oh, Alan, come on, unban me, bro. Like I'm not doing that, dude.
Should, dog.
But why? So why do you? So that's another thing. Why did he ban all of us randomly? A whole bunch of Christians.
Because if he would have saved you, like if he would have just kept you and not and banned everybody else, then it would show favoritism, dog. So he did. Everybody in that conversation that day, he banned everybody in that room, no holds bar, and he had to stand by the decision. He didn't want to do that.
None of us got closure, bro. We all got banned all at the same time, like within the same week.
Did you seek out closure? Did you go ask for the information of how that actually unraveled itself, rather than going around just accusing people wildly?
Yeah. So I talked to Witsit and Shane. Witsit brought me back, and then I got banned again. And then Shane was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get you back, bro." But I never got any reason.
And Galatrax.
Yeah, I know. And dude,
why do you keep getting banned?
The thing is, bro. Like I know people in here.
Oh no,
right?
Rick.
That are Nazi apologists, dude, and I don't hate them for it, bro. We're still friends.
Yeah, but why are you trying to make that blanket statement about 23 other people in ether cosmology when that's literally we don't even talk about that? World War II is so gay to talk about. It's so fucking saturated, and people talk about it all fucking day. It's annoying, dog. We're talking about the latest arguments for flat Earth, really. Like that's what we focus on. So for you to say and make a blatant statement, like, dude. Why? What are you doing? Why are you lashing out? Why couldn't you just talk? Yeah, like
you weren't here for all that, bro. I already explained all that, dude.
Now he watched. Everyone has seen the clip, man. They saw exactly what you said. They've seen the entire video. Look, man. What happened was you were real quick. You were trying to frame this whole. You're trying to frame this whole like virtue jerk thing, where it's like I'm a good guy. I say Hitler's bad. Anyone who disagrees with me is a bad guy. They say Hitler's great. And then you're forcing people to say Hitler's a bad guy, and if they didn't, you were going to frame them and slander them as a Nazi sympathizer, and that's what you did. And then you got on your self-righteous horse.
Can I speak for myself?
Don't interrupt me, man.
Hold on, Gally, real quick. Let me just preface this, okay? This is some petty high school drama bullshit, and we should be better than this. Now check this out. Galatrax hates liars. This is his bone to pick with you specifically, all right? When we saw the clip, we were tired of hearing it, actually. Even Mister was saying like, yo, we should have an intervention with Gally about like, yo, he should just let this go. But the fact is that he really despises liars, and you doubled and tripled down, and we have proof of it. Now you've seen it. Now I didn't want to come in here and just like I didn't come in here for no reason, okay? The fact that you guys are still talking about this, we need to have some closure as adults, okay? Like I'm willing to let everything go as long as like you're not slandering or be specific about your accusations, dog. Like I'm one of what?
So like, I already explained this, right? And I quote, I said this: you've been hanging out in ether cause. You've been convinced they all believe the same shit. They think Hitler's a great guy. Now, when I said that yesterday, I didn't say it with the same tone that I just read it in. I said it with sarcasm and hyperbole, right? Okay. So the highlighted part, they think Hitler's a great guy, right? If you didn't pick up that tone, right? It's right here. It says the highlight part. I didn't mean that literally. Like I need a sound clip of one of you guys saying Hitler's a great guy verbatim. That was not my intention, nor did I imply that. And I clarified this. It's a mixture of sarcasm and hyperbole to create emphasis, evoke strong feelings, or make a point. Often used in poetry or oratory. Right, and like Elbow was saying, we say things sometimes with exaggeration. Does that make me a liar?
No, it's okay. I'll give you an example, an analogy. Oh, you don't believe in the globe? You must be a flat earther. You don't believe in the globe? You must be a flat earther. See, look, he's hesitant. He must be a flat earther. He doesn't believe in the globe.
No, I'm listening to you. What's your point?
I'm saying
it's a false dilemma?
Yes, dude. That's Galatrex's point.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I'll explain
part
why.
of my point.
And
The
I
other
explain the
part is
difference.
that you lied several times.
We use Trump as an analogy, right? Because when we bring up Trump,
hang on. Do you acknowledge that this is a lie? If you don't say Hitler is bad, then you are tacitly agreeing that Hitler is good. Do you understand that that's a lie?
Okay. So I have no problem denouncing Hitler's actions and calling him a bad guy at all.
Okay, you're ignoring the question.
I'm not reluctant, right? If you're reluctant and you hesitate, that to me that's indicative of something deeper.
I denounce his actions, dog.
And you did. I'm glad that you did, dude.
My grandpa was in Auschwitz, dog.
Lyin, you're doing what you do. You drop a smoke bomb. You know, you say you're gaslighting, you're projecting, you're doing. No, look, it's a lie if I say, Lyin, you need to denounce Hitler or else you're saying he's a great guy. That's a lie. Because just by not denouncing Hitler, that doesn't mean they're tacitly agreeing that Hitler's a great guy. You understand that that's a lie, right?
So with the Socratic method, you can use it to get information out of people or to show that what things that are indicative of their minds, you know. No, so like when I ask you questions, right, and I do have you, and my intention is to have you like at the witness, right, and I'm asking you questions to get information out of you, and you're hesitant and you're reluctant to answer. To me, that shows that you have a something going on, right, with Hitler.
No, it doesn't.
No,
this is all obfuscation, non sequitur. This is
Riggs brought up.
No, you finished talking. Now I can respond. If you don't say that you love somebody, does that mean that you hate them? Obviously not. But if I say, Lyin, you need to say you love Trump, or else that means you hate Trump. You need to say you hate Trump, or else that means you love Trump. That's a lie, right? That's a lie. And if you say I'm going to slander you about it, I'm going to depict you as this horrible, evil person. If you don't answer the way I want, it's a veiled threat. You're saying I'm going to tell everybody that you're this thing that I have no proof that you are. So you're lying. Okay, I don't know how you don't understand that.
But this is not a false dilemma, and I'll explain to you why. I'll explain to you the difference, right? So the Socratic method is used all the time in the court of law.
That is a false dilemma. You're lying again.
The Socratic method is used all the time in a court of law, right, to convict people. And that's what I used on you, right? Now you're saying that I presented a false dilemma, yet when it comes to the only thing that makes sense is what Riggs said, and I'll explain to you real quick what Riggs said. This happened so long ago, it happened 100 years ago, that some of you guys are still unsure about the narrative and the history. That's why you've taken a step back, right, to not denounce Hitler. If you would have said that, I would have had more respect for you. But you didn't say that. You just didn't want to answer for whatever reason.
No, because of how you asked. You asked in an extremely rapey way. You asked as if you were a rapist. How does that feel when I say that to you? How does that feel when I say that to you? You asked as if you were a rapist. Do you like that? Do you like the way that feels?
I don't care, dude. I'm not offended. That's whatever.
Oh, do you
so
like the way that feels?
If you ask someone, if you say to someone, you need to say this. You need to say this exact answer, or else I'm going to slander you. I'm going to depict you in a false light. And if you hesitate at all, that means I'm going to do it more so. You understand that it's a veiled threat? You're threatening someone? You're not asking them a good faith question.
Well, it reminds me a little bit, to bring it back at least. Well, I'm not trying to change it from anything, but just to bring it back. Just one
closer, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, there's a lot that's occurring, I know, at the moment. But no, I was just gonna say the one thing is just when it just reminded me a little bit that what you're saying is when Bart Sibrel went and he was asking the astronauts to put their hand on the Bible and prove they landed on the moon, because like if they didn't put their hand on the Bible and say they landed on the moon, then they're liars. You know what I mean? It was kind of his like, it's not. I'm not even saying Lyin's like completely doing that. Although I do hear you in your statement. The thing is, though, Lyin, did you? I don't know. We're so like deep in this. It's like so wild. But I mean, did you actually say that if he didn't say that in that moment, then you would call him that? Or whatever. Was that part?
Yeah, that was
I was saying that if he hesitates or is reluctant on answering, right, that Hitler's a bad guy, to me that's indicative that he's a Hitler apologist.
And then he went down the list.
Anything but Hitler is a bad guy, or even hesitating. So I have to answer how he wants, or I have to say Hitler is a bad guy. and I can't hesitate, or else he's gonna slander me, which is exactly what he ended up doing. Because I didn't even hesitate, by the way. I just repeated what I said. I never said Hitler was a good guy. So I didn't even hesitate, and he slandered me anyway.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna be the mediator here. Galatrax, what do you want out of this? What do you want Lyin to do out of this? Seriously.
Oh, I want him to stop slandering people. I want him to stop making baseless accusations, and I want him to stop spamming insults at someone when they contest one of his points. That's a horrible thing to do to somebody, and I think he shouldn't do that. My one insult is that he's a liar, and I can back it up. All of his insults are just slander. He slandered me about how I presented this to people. He slandered me about my position on Hitler, which is weird. He said I defended Hitler by being neutral. He said I defended Hitler by not answering immediately. Like, this is absurd. You shouldn't be able to do this. I got yelled at for like 10 minutes because I said left lane a cog diss once. So like he can just say I'm a Hitler supporter with no base to it? This is absurd.
All right. You know what? You know what I want out of this line? Let's just be more specific with the accusations, right? Like if you have evidence to back them up, back it up. Don't just say blanket statements. I won't do the same, right? And I think we should leave it at that. Like, I'm a Christian, bro. Yeah, I have Jewish roots and I have Italian roots. So what? Like I came to my faith on my own, and I know there is one thing in there where if you bear false witness, that is a sin for sure. So like, let's just cool it on the accusations, and I think we should just move on from here. Both of you guys.
And one thing to note, Lyin, there's only one righteous, and that's the Messiah. So it doesn't matter what person you're talking about. You're not supposed to consider any of them good. Only the Messiah.
Right, calm down.
Says the one-eyed man. Love you, Jeremy.
I want
to you guys got to squash this shit because this has been going on for days. Squash this shit and let's move on because you know what I'm saying? Let's go here.
Squash for me.
Yeah, do a treaty. All right, Lyin. No more baseless accusations. No more accusing people of gaslighting, projecting, all this other garbage. No more spamming insults when you're called out. Is that cool? Can you not do that again?
Dude, whatever you say, bro. I apologize. I've already apologized publicly to you. You want to drag this out?
Right, cool.
I hope this is the last day we bring this up. But my whole point, if you watch that video, that New Perspective, the video that New Perspective posted, that's how it all started, bro. That was the genesis of this whole thing. I encourage, if you guys want to know what really happened, go listen to that. Now it got progressively worse for the next 2 days. But initially, my whole point is that there are Nazi apologists in flat Earth groups, right? In all these servers, including Politics server. And that was and then for whatever reason, right, including Ether Calls and Earth's Awakenings, I was labeled like, a liar, and that's not true.
Yeah,
nobody's a Nazi apologist. Nobody's a Hitler apologist. When there are Hitler apologists, and all you have to do to be a Hitler apologist is justify Hitler's action. That's my
but you manipulatively use that description as a weapon against people. You did it with me, and you have no reason to accuse me of doing any of that. You have no proof of that, and you repeatedly accuse me of that. You use it as a weapon, which is what the ADL does, which is why people have problems with the ADL. They use that tag as a weapon.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing.
We shouldn't do that. Yeah, there's just no virtue signaling.
I'm gonna take
I like your point, Yasuke, about if you blame the Jews, it's your fault for accepting those loans in the first place. I'm with you on that.
But yeah, there's that point, which is a good point. Good point, Beasticles, bringing up that good Yasuke point. Another good Yasuke point is that Nazis, just actual Nazis online, are actually less likely to be flat earthers because they're more likely to defend space and the moon landing, because the only reason we're able to go is because of based Aryan Nazis, and the reason we can't go now is because all the based Aryan Nazis left. Nazis online are the biggest defenders of the moon landing because it's most important for their worldview that it is true. And if anything, in terms of people that get into niche, esoteric online discussions, Flat Earth probably has proportionately less Nazis than you would expect, given the fact that, there is all this, Jew stuff that is associated with this kind of idea.
there's very few real Nazis around. I mean, let's be honest, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'm with you there, Essie. It's just used as like, you're racist, you're a Nazi, you're xenophobic, you're this, you're that. And it's just a way to character assassinate somebody in an argument.
Yep. But Peter, it's rampant. It's in our midst. The threat is in our midst.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few things. Yeah, there's a few different categories. There's some people that just completely troll, and they're just trolling, and they're typing all kinds of stuff, in that way. Or they're trying to, like, attack the server, or they're trying to do something like that. There's that. And then there's, like, but there's also, and then there's another category of people who are maybe doing some trolling, but then also they maybe have some questions about all of what's going on. Yeah, with, like, the current setup of the world and then what happened in World War II and stuff, to where, because, like, I don't know what your whole perspective is on it, Lyin, but I mean, like, I guess, like Jeremy was saying earlier, like, there, do some people think Hitler was, like, fighting against the New World Order, or was he the New World Order, basically? And then that kind of discussion, and then maybe people having some different sides of it. So you have, like, that whole thing and everything involved with it, and then you have just the way, like, the Jewish banking, just the way they're connected to banking and Hollywood and music and all the different industries and the media, and just how many, and just that whole thing, the way that it just seems like whatever's connected with that, with like Jewish, essentially, like how that's related. Then you get into, like, obviously, like, the Zionism and all the other components of that. And then you get people using it more in that light, So, Lyin, I mean, you're not, like, referring to that, right? Like, I mean, if somebody's like, oh, like, like using, you know how people say, like, the Illuminati, or they'll use the word, they'll use different terms, to describe. So if they're saying Jews in that way, like, you're not.
I'm all about exposing darkness in the world, even if they're Jewish, and that's why I'm one to expose the Jewish people for their abominations, right? But there's a difference between exposing the Jewish people for their abominations and then having, like, an extreme disdain for all Jews because of the evil actors in history, and then starting to gain an affinity for the Nazis because of it, right? So, like, there's, like, there's people, maybe nobody in here right now, but there's people that do have an affinity. It doesn't make them neo-Nazis. Like, they're not dressing up in the whole garb and got patches and got swastikas on their chest or nothing like that. But they do have, like, this sparkle, this twinkling in their eye when they hear of Hitler, and they kind of, like, they're starting to glorify Hitler now. It's kind of weird.
Dude, come on, bro.
But you were trying to label that on Biast. But you were trying to label that on Biasticles, though.
You said I'm one of them.
No.
He said the same thing about Alan.
It's two things.
One of them.
It's two things. It's extreme Jewish disdain, and then also Nazi affinity. Now, you might fit the extreme Jewish disdain and not the Nazi affinity, or vice versa. But usually, if you have an extreme Nazi affinity, then you probably have an extreme Jewish disdain also.
Is there a chart you're pointing to, bro? Like, what
there's a spectrum. There's literally a spectrum, dude.
It's just on that point that, like,
this is wild, dude.
Anti-Jewish thought is infinitely broader than, like, literal Nazi, as in, like, the overwhelming majority of the world, and, like, histories and cultures are would be considered under this lens anti-Jewish, and then there's a small subsect that is specifically following the ideas of the German government between 1939 and 1945.
I just say this is kind of like a power play, right? So if you say, like, look, there's this really bad thing going around, and I'm gonna call them out anytime I see anything that resembles it, and if you even close to resemble it, and I get a sniff of that, I'm gonna call you out. It's kind of like a power play, because it's kind of like threatening everybody to act a certain way, or else you're gonna accuse them of being, like, a piece of shit.
No, like, I'm empathetic towards
emotional blackmail.
I have Jewish friends.
Yeah, it is emotional blackmail. That's right, Martin. It is emotional blackmail.
I know Jewish people in real life, and Messianic Jews on top of that, and they're good people. And, like, I feel bad that they're being grouped into these Zionists and these evil actors in history, right? And I'm like, people consider me Jew, or a wannabe Jew, or a Judaizer, right? So I understand, and that's why I'm trying to push back in Flat Earth. I'm trying to push back. I'm like, listen, don't let the Jewish hate, because what happens is they have this extreme hate for the Jews that it's clouded their judgment, where now they're, like, thinking Hitler was a great guy. That's my observation.
Dude, hold on. The thing is, what you just explained is exactly why it's important to have nuance and not make sweeping accusations. Like, this whole conversation is a nuanced conversation, which is why we should be specific. So, like, yes, I get that there is sentiment, right? Nazi sympathizers and apologetics maybe on Twitter, right? Like, but how much of that is actually true in terms of like these conversations that we have in these servers, bro? Like, this is a very I don't agree with you. Like, I don't see the sentiment. Yeah, maybe there's a couple eggs like Blob or Wish or any one of them. So what?
Andy, Andrew.
Yeah, dude, there's a bunch of people here that don't like Jews. This is obvious.
No, he's a Hitler apologist.
No, he said the same thing that Riggs and I said. He said we don't know the history.
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's also what Gio said. So if Andrew's one, then me, Gio, Riggs, and
me,
all of us are.
Wait, just saying what? Wait, saying what?
Yeah. So Andrew's position was it happened so long ago. He wasn't there. He doesn't know. And then now Lyin's saying that he's a Hitler apologist because he said that. No. But that was what I said. That's what Riggs said. That's what Beast said. So we're all Hitler apologists then.
Exactly, okay. And that's what I'm saying. If you justify Hitler's actions for whatever reason, that makes you a Hitler apologist, dude. And you guys are getting mad because I'm saying that.
Hang on, man. What Andrew said was that happened so long ago. I don't know what happened, so I'm not going to make a claim about it, right? And you just called him a Hitler apologetic for that. I said that, Riggs said that, Beast said that, Gio said that. So are you calling all four of us the same? Don't interrupt me, man. So you would be calling all four of us the same thing because we say the same thing.
Bro, I told Andrew to his face earlier because he was justifying Hitler's actions. He was using witnesses that denied some of the stuff that occurred. He was exposing the Jews, right? As soon as you start justifying Hitler's actions, regardless of how you want to chop it up, Galatrax, that makes you a Hitler, dude. You don't understand that?
He wasn't justifying Hitler's actions. He said the same thing that me, Geo, Beast, and Riggs said. You just made that up.
Okay, I've been waiting for 2 hours now to just speak this point.
Wait, this is Andrew, and I'm here live listening to this. So, if you want to address anything...
Andrew, were you justifying Hitler's actions, or did you say that happened so long ago that you can't make a positive claim on the nature of Hitler?
Yes, I said that I cannot justify it or even prove. Because it was a long time ago. I was born in 1983. So.
Yeah, we're all going by the same information. Like.
Okay, so Lyin, now that you realize you were wrong, I corrected you, but you repeated it. Hold on. Now that you realize you were wrong, are you going to apologize to Andrew for slandering him?
No, because you can go back, right? Andrew, remember I said, right? Because you brought up witnesses, you brought up people that you use as your defense. Even though you made a disclaimer that you weren't there, none of us were there. We all know that none of us were there. That's a given, right? You did bring up evidence for your case, did you not?
Lyin, I asked you a specific question. Andrew just corrected the record. You made a claim about him. This is the whole issue. This is why we're here. You just slander people. You say accusations.
No, bro.
Stop.
Stop. No, you stop. You stop. You're controlling the conversation.
Talking.
You're controlling the flow of the conversation. I can't even get a word out. I'm trying to talk to Andrew one-on-one. You keep controlling the conversation, bro, and the flow of it. Can you stop? Can I breathe? Can I get my word out?
All right.
Dude,
no, I wasn't finished talking.
Stop. Dude, you're irate, bro. I'm just trying to have a talk with Andrew, and you're irate right now. You're tweaking out, dude.
Let's
Relax.
ask Andrew. Andrew, are you a Hitler apologist, Andrew?
No.
Okay, Lyin, stop saying that.
Yeah, none of you guys are saying that, right? But when you start defending Hitler's actions, that by default makes you a Hitler apologist, dude. It doesn't mean that you're a neo-Nazi and you have a swastika on your chest, bro. You don't understand that? So Andrew, earlier when we had the conversation, I told you, you're still my friend, right? Remember I told you I still got love for you, Andrew. I'm glad that you came forth and said what you said. Do you remember what you said? Can you repeat what you said earlier?
I think that was around 20 hours ago, so I don't recall exactly what my words were. But
That wasn't even 20 hours ago. That was like 12 hours ago. That was this morning.
Was it 12? Okay, something like that.
Yeah, this should
You
not
don't remember
going
anything?
on.
You don't remember the conversation
Dude,
at all?
I remember
I
it
do.
going Lion's way, so I don't know what's going on here. What is happening at this point?
I have no
Are we
idea.
just is this just like a
Revisionist
fractal
history.
reality? You know what I think's going on? I don't think any of you can account for knowledge being possible in this world, and that's what the problem is.
Thank you, Tora. Let's do that.
Okay,
I will say though.
Remove the goalposts.
Oh, I agree with you, Tora. If that's the case, then maybe we should make baseless accusations that we can't prove.
I never said that about the Christian worldview. People wearing ZZs and whatnot. Yo, check it out.
Well, hold on.
You gotta follow.
Well, hold on, but Lyin, what was your thing though? I mean, yeah, like, what? Because here's the thing. I will say, Lyin. All right, so like in all of this, like whatever it all is, and we know like in other countries, like talking about like the Holocaust and stuff and everything. So it's obviously a very charged topic in general, like in the world. But the thing is, Lyin, like when some of these people's like that have been named or whatever, like, and that have been claimed, like, the thing is, like when you say that, it puts in people's minds like there is something real about that because it's like, oh, that person's saying that person is this thing. Like, are they that thing? You know, and then you have to scratch your chin and be like, okay, is that true or not? But not everybody really scratches their chin very much. Some people just assume it or think it is, or they just place it in their mind there. So like, even when you just mentioned Andrew, for example, I was like, oh wait, Lyin's saying Andrew now. And then I was thinking like, I couldn't really think of anything that would have resonated that of any thoughts like that. Now, there's a few other people, if you had said, I might have said, oh, okay, I've seen a few of their comments or whatever, like, you know, but there's not very many, but there may be like a few. But again, it's like you have to kind of be able to read between the lines, like if they're doing comedy or if they're trolling or different stuff like that. Sometimes people are doing. But anyways, I'm just saying. So like, there is something about like if you're gonna like say that like whatever like with like Andrew, but then, anyways, so I'm just saying like there is something like very powerful about doing something like an accusation is not something just to be thrown around. Like it really does have an effect.
Exactly.
Not only in putting in people's minds, but also just like there's many additional implications as well beyond that, of course. So because now I'm on the edge of my seat because I'm like, okay, well, Lyin said that. I'm kind of just listening to this whole thing. I'm kind of like not really fully at my mic. I'm just kind of listening and doing and while I'm doing other stuff and kind of following as best I can. But like the thing is, like, you were then going to reveal, like, okay, what he did that was he already said he wasn't or whatever. So, but then that's my kind of long-winded way of saying, like, what is the thing you think he said or whatever? Like, is there something more to that, or was that it? Was it just that he was talking about witnesses?
So,
what about the witnesses?
A Nazi apologist, right, is just simply somebody who justifies Hitler's action, right? That have good reason for why Hitler did what he did. Now, there are many people in these servers that think like that, and when I try to confront them, they deny it, bro. It's weird. And Andrew earlier had reason to justify Hitler's actions. He didn't realize that he was a Nazi apologist by doing that. And I told him, well, guess what? That makes you a Nazi apologist. He didn't say nothing about it. But there's witnesses. He's got tons of evidence. And Andrew got tons of evidence to support his case regarding why Hitler was justified in doing what he did. Hold on. If you justify Hitler's action by default, right, that makes you a Hitler apologist. Now people, they start freaking out when I say that. It's like, bro, like, why are you guys freaking out?
That's like saying you're unconsciously racist. You don't know you're racist, but you are.
Yeah.
You just don't know
also,
it.
Like,
it's the same
he's
shit.
accusing people and then they deny it. So it could be a false accusation, but they deny it, and you just sort of say, well, they won't admit it now. I mean, what is
you're literally bearing false witness.
This is like a weird inquisition, dude, that you're going after, eh? Like trying to root out these Nazis everywhere, and they're just really not fair.
Well, what was the thing though, even about the what he said about witnesses? Are you just saying Lyin like alternative ideas of what actually happened or something? Like what is it about the witnesses that makes you what is that justifying some action Hitler took? By the way, you do know that like women were bringing their like children to be like kissed by Hitler or like hugged by him and stuff. So like they thought he was like a very good man or whatever.
Yeah, in that question, it's like Hitler did a lot of things. So it's like Hitler drank water. Am I saying that Hitler drinking water was a good thing, or drinking water is a good thing? Is all of a sudden justifying his actions, and now I'm a Nazi apologist? Like, you got to be specific about what policies are the ones that are not okay to condone.
He said apologetics, and I'll just put forward that, like, it's my inclination of one of the major reasons for the rise in popularity of Hitler is because of the Rothschild banking system bankrupting Germany in the First World War. Is that a justification? I don't know. I just sort of see it as a reason why Hitler rose to power. See, this is the thing. I don't think that rises to your accusation, mate. I'm outlaying what it seems like the terrain or the map of what the region was going through, suggesting that the reason why Hitler came to power was just simply because of the stress placed upon the population. And you want to call me an apologist for that? It's just really weird. I don't get that.
That's what it is, though. And you guys are getting offended when I say it, when that's literally what it is. If you justify Hitler's actions, including the expansion, right, of Germany and the extermination of the Jews for whatever reason, even if they were doing, some banking stuff, usury, that makes you a Hitler apologist, bro. By default.
I said no, it does not. The reason he came to power. That is just simply the reason why he came to power. Not why it was good that he came to power. None of this, none of this idea that he was going to dismantle anything. Just like that was the reason. And you want to call me an apologist for that? I'm just simply pointing out like an observational sociological fact. And that's even what the mainstream agrees upon. That they don't even actually dispute that statement that it was the circumstances in Germany that actually caused the rise of Hitler. And you want to call people apologists for Nazism. Dude, you're seeing Nazis everywhere, man. Like,
no, bro, stop, dude. Why are you?
I mean, what about the policy of him like lowering taxes depending on how many children you had, or like paying off a house depending on how many children you had, and then by the time you have 4 children, your house is paid off? Like, if I support that policy, does that make me a Nazi sympathizer?
No, I'm not talking. Let's not squabble over trivial things, right? Like nationalism. I'm a nationalist. If Hitler's a nationalist and I believe in nationalism, that doesn't make me a Hitler apologist. Stop. Let's be reasonable here, right? Let's not be oversimplify everything. Right?
I still don't get the thing. I still don't get what Andrew said about witnesses. How does that make him? I still don't even get how that makes him. You think that?
I'll let Andrew speak for himself, but we had a conversation earlier.
He said he's not a Hitler apologist.
No, I know that, and you guys all said it. I know that. But if you defend Hitler's actions, that makes you a Hitler apologist, bro.
Well, that's why I still deny it. Well, we can do it later. Just keep it. I just don't know how that makes him that.
Anybody that defends Hitler's actions, right, makes you a Hitler apologist.
So what I didn't even Yasuke, you're a Hitler apologist. Yasuke,
the thing is,
you're a Hitler apologist.
When I bring up Mein Kampf, his book, right, and I read verses in his book, like literally pages, and I'm like, look, in this page, it says that Hitler thought that the Polish were subhuman, or that Czechoslovakians were subhuman. And look, in this chapter, he promotes racial purity, right, and ethnic cleansing,
so do the Jews.
right? These people, they try to rationalize it, and they try to say, "Oh, well, no," and I condemn the Jews for it too, the rabbinical Hasidic Jews.
Yeah,
that think that they're God's chosen people.
We're all Nazis.
No,
here,
bro,
okay?
no. See, this is bro. Stop.
We shouldn't be a Jew sympathizer either.
So when I point these things out, right, they try to rationalize it, and they're like, "Well, how do we know Hitler wrote that?" So like they keep moving the goalposts. Or when I bring up the medical experiments, hold on. When I bring up the medical experiments with Josef Mengele, and you got his right hand SS soldiers and all the evil shit that they did, they're like, well, how do you know that all happened? So like I'm lost. Like I can't win in this conversation because no matter what I bring forth, in 2003 there was declassified documents that came out, right, regarding the Nazis. I can't use that because you guys are gonna say, oh, that's all fake.
Okay,
about the history of the Bible, Lyin. I've been trying to get in for a while. If I may add something, there's been many times in this server and many times in many places, and I don't have a problem with it. I love discussing the topic with people. But when people broad brush a whole people group and they use that J word, right? And they say it's those people. You're broad brushing a whole people group, right? And you're mad because Lyin's speaking about people. It's like several times. Just 1 second, man. Several times, SE and myself have had this conversation, and eventually he conceded that he needs to be specific about what people. When we're in America, it's either Democrat or Republican. So who is it? What sect of these people are doing this? And is it a certain group or is it all of those people? And when you use those broad brush terms, what you're actually showing is your lack of knowledge. And,
yeah,
and
let's
it's
go
just,
specific.
it's not right. It's not
let's-
right at all. It's really not right at all to defame the whole
be
people.
specific, bro. Let's be specific. Talmudic Jews are the problem. Talmudic Jews who believe that if you are not Jewish, then you're a goy, and that you should be a slave, basically. That's in the Talmud. That's in there. Lyin, am I wrong about that?
Sympathizing.
Lyin, bring it up.
Let's never use the J.
Hold on, wait.
Let's never use that J word.
Hold on, North. Hold on.
Broad brush like we do, right? Be very specific. Every time you use that word, be very specific about who you're speaking about.
Okay, yeah,
do
we're
not
trying to.
use that word because the whole people do.
Bro, you're on repeat,
Lyin
bro.
to do
Let
that.
Beast get in, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Lyin, am
Do
I
whatever.
incorrect? North, please, dude. Lyin, am I incorrect about that statement I just said about Talmudic Jews?
No, Talmudic Jews hold the same position that Hitler had, right? Regarding a superiority complex.
Yeah.
And I denounce both groups, just like I denounce both the left and right in politics in America. But there are people that don't do that, bro. For whatever reason, they hesitate to do that. They're reluctant to denounce Hitler and Hitler's Germany. I don't know why, bro. It's weird.
So if there is any policy that came out of Germany during Hitler's reign that you might agree with, you're a Nazi sympathizer or a Hitler apologist?
Absolutely not. Nope.
Okay, so why are you saying that?
That's an oversimplification fallacy.
So there's a list of positions that.
So then, wait, Beast
had.
is off the list now. He's off your list.
Can I be off that list now, Lyin?
No, yeah, he's off the list. He's off the list.
Wow. Okay, good.
So it's a list of
so that's like
specific
the entire
positions
problem,
that are just
though,
not
is that
okay
you
to
just
have.
slander until someone proves their innocence. That's the
Wait, was
worst.
he
That's the
ever
worst
on it?
part of what you're doing.
Yeah, was he ever on the list though?
I guess
real?
I wasn't ever on the list, huh?
Nah, you were on the list, bro. Now you're off the
Yeah,
list.
see, you just slanders
But-
until you prove your innocence.
Nah,
That's the entire
whatever, bro.
crux of the issue.
Whatever. That wasn't the point of the whole conversation. Anyways, if you go
Yes,
back
it
on the
was.
stream, the whole point, right? I have trouble
You
getting
sound like a
people
Nazi
to,
hunter.
I have trouble getting people to condemn Hitler.
I will say that I will say that I don't think that Hitler is a bad guy.
All right. So, Dice,
Awesome.
did you want to
So you're
say
one of
something? It was hard to hear you.
So you're one of them, he
I was
says.
saying that Lyin sounds like a Nazi hunter. Like
Yeah,
he's like
Penny
Steve
Hunters.
Irwin of the Nazi jungle.
He's hunting.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I
Nazis
guess
like a
everyone's
Nazi.
on the list until you prove otherwise. It's fucking weird, man.
Yeah, you
I'm
actually
not-
sound like a Nazi, man. Present your papers, prove that you're, an Aryan or whatever. You actually sound like a Nazi.
Lyin,
you guys are spiraling.
No, he's
Without
using
I'm
circumstantial.
spiraling, man. I'm very calm. I think you are emotional.
Lyin,
You guys are
without
spiraling.
oversimplifying it or anything like that, would you say that your position is that anybody who takes the position or the perspective that Hitler was the last person in power to oppose the Talmudic Jewish system that is attempting to control the world, that they are then a Hitler and a Nazi sympathizer?
Usury, specifically through usury.
Yeah.
Bro, if you support Hitler, you're a
accurate.
Nazi apologist.
Yeah, you're just on repeat.
To
Yeah,
be
understood.
clear,
You're just repeating the script, man. You're not answering questions. You're avoiding questions. You're going to start accusing us of gaslighting, projecting, all that other stuff now. And you're going to start insulting when that doesn't work.
No, yes,
You're like a kid who got caught taking
No, I already
cookies out of
said
the
yes,
cookie jar.
bro.
You got to
it's
interrupt.
yes.
You got to censor. You're like a
What-
kid who got caught taking cookies
Fine,
out of the
bro,
cookie
fine.
jar.
Whatever you want, darling.
Line. Like if I just outlay the circumstances under which Hitler rose to power, you still saying that I'm a Nazi apologist?
Yes.
Can you steel man? I don't know. Is that necessary?
Dude, I've already repeated myself 100 times. I don't know how many times
this
I
is
gotta repeat myself.
articulated. Yeah, but what I'm saying in that statement is articulated by mainstream historians. They point out all the bad shit and they believe in all the 6 million Jews stuff and all the rest of it. How am I a Nazi apologist if I just point out the circumstances under which he rose? Like, how does that rise to the accusation?
I already explained myself, dude. But every time I go to explain myself, right, you guys clip me and I can't get it out. So again, once I start bringing up the expansion of Germany and you guys start justifying the expansion of Germany and the conquest of Poland and Czechoslovakia, right? That's like, all right, something's going on with this guy's reason, because Now he's justifying.
When did I say any of that?
Did anyone justify that? I want to know. Did anyone in here justify that at all at this moment?
And when did the Germans occupy Poland?
Yeah, it was there. There has been justification. I've even defended the fact that
we've had this conversation.
They were aiming to reclaim stolen German land. It wasn't to invade a different country, but it was to reclaim their stolen land. But again, if you're calling that being an apologist when it's looking at comparative history and looking at like what's going on in the minds of the people who are doing those actions, then what right do you have at all to talk about flat Earth when that's a contrary to the narrative type of thing itself as well, where you have to look at opposing and contrary things than what the narrative says, which is exactly what you'd be doing when you're looking at the history of World War II. Like, this is nonsensical, man. It's kind of crazy and downright stupid.
No, it's not, bro. And I don't know if this guy's in here. I forget who. Joe Dubs. He's another one, actually. Joe Dubs, are you in here?
He's another one. What kind of phrasing is that, Lyin? He's another one. That's another one.
He literally hold on. He literally popped in. Hold on. He literally popped in earlier and said, "Who let this kike in here?"
Joe Dubs is one of them, dude. I got hold on.
Invoking Joe Dubs is another red herring, man. Like, I don't know why we're doing
this. Relax. Hold on, I'm talking. Right?
You overtalk me and then you say relax. Dude. I don't get that, man. It's absurd. What you're doing is absurd. Look, your whole thing is you accuse people of stuff and you force them to prove
enough of projection, dude. Enough of projection. We had enough projection. No, you need to stop. No, you need to stop, dude.
Yo, I think the 5 or 10 minutes is up.
It is kind of rude to just steamroll through him like that.
All right, let's.
Yeah, so I brought up Joe Dubs. Speaking. Thank you.
No, dude.
You can't just accuse people of stuff and force them to prove their innocence under duress and veiled threat that you're going to slander them if they don't. And then if they get offended by your accusation, you insult them over and over again. You say they're gaslighting and projecting. You can't do that.
Okay, good. Now let me respond, please.
Circumstantial ad hominem is a fallacy.
Hold on. So Joe Dubs is one of them, right? Maybe he won't deny it. He's one of the ones that won't deny this, right? But when we bring up like Hitler having extreme views, radical views regarding racial purity, right, and ethnic cleansing, he actually agrees with it, dude.
Okay.
Right? And there are people that agree with it, but right now when I'm trying to call them out, nobody wants to come forth. I'm the delusional one.
So, Lyin, let's take a pause for a second. Let's take a real big pause, okay? If I didn't come in here and actually state my position, then I would continuously be on your list to just slander and say I'm a Hitler apologist. Do you understand how that's not fair for anyone else, right? That you have called a Hitler apologist, like on Ether Cause, like Taylor and Dan? Are they on your list, bro?
No, bro. Why are we rehashing things that I already clarified?
Because this is important, bro.
No, I already clarified this, that when I said it, they all think Hitler's a great guy. I didn't mean literally every single person in that server.
And you shouldn't say that.
By the tone of my voice, you can hear the sarcasm and the hyperbole, right? No. If you think that's what I meant, dude, that's on you, bro. You have some type of comprehension issue.
No, I don't have a comprehension issue,
you're
bro.
You're autistic and you have Asperger's, man.
Hold on, I got this, bro. This is crazy.
Sure.
This is crazy, though. This is crazy. Because, Lyin, if I didn't come in here and defend myself and my position and actually show the nuance of my position, then I would be on your list still.
No, because at the end of the day, bro, I've heard you talk mad shit about Jews. Now you want to act like the victim, like, oh, I never talked shit about Jews. I'm not acting like a victim. And then you have extreme Jewish disdain, even though your mother's Jewish. There's plenty of people with extreme Jewish disdain. I pointed out I'm the bad guy.
Right, so this is the veiled threat. This is the duress. He's Beast. What he's doing right now, this is emotional blackmail. He's constantly threatening you that you are going to be on his slander list if you don't concede to what he's saying. That's what he's doing right now. He's like, oh, I might still call you that if you don't concede. That's exactly what he's doing. It's just extremely manipulative. It's really lame.
But let me just say,
psychological manipulation.
Well, let me just say though, so let me just share from my personal experience, just because we all experience our lives from ourselves, obviously. So I have not had this, that like with Lyin, meaning myself. Like, I don't think Lyon's ever Lyin. Okay, what is your ranking on me? Do I have like 0 of this?
Yeah, you're right.
Dude,
where's he on the chart?
0, bro. 0.
Okay, all right. I agree. So, I mean, that's what I would say as well. I guess I was kind of wanting to test your accuracy to see what you would say, but
okay, so Gio, here's the thing. My
wait.
metric for being called a Hitler apologist was that I wouldn't say Hitler was a bad guy. Your metric for not being a Hitler was apologist was you wouldn't make a positive claim either way, one way or the other. So he just calls people that. It doesn't matter the proof. It doesn't matter if he has any reason to. He just says it, right?
But he never called me that. He never called
all
me
he does
that.
is project
Right?
about me
But
all
what
day.
you
Dude, all you
said
do is
was
project.
more
Bro. Can
leaning
you stop
towards
doing
that than me. So why wouldn't he call you that if he
dude,
called
all
me
you do
that?
is project. All you do is project. Bro,
Look at him talking through me and censoring me. Then look, Gio, the thing that you said would be considered more of a Hitler apologist thing than what I said. What I said was, I'm not taking a position. I'm not saying Hitler was a bad guy. I never said he was a good guy. That's all I said. And he said I was a Hitler apologist. So how is you saying, oh, I don't want to make a claim on it? He said my playing neutral was indirectly defending Hitler. So if anything, if I'm a Hitler apologist, so are you, so is Riggs, so is Beast, etc., etc. Because his metric is just I can just say it.
No. I already
What about me,
clarified.
Lyin? What about
Well,
me?
my point
Am I on the
was
list?
my
Am I
point
on the
was a
list? I
little
want to know if I'm on the list, Gio. Hold on. Am I on the
Yeah,
list,
where's
Lyin?
Dicelo on this list?
Hold on, dude. Hold on. So
No. Tell me if I'm on the list.
Dicelo has made some very, very
Yep.
you know, he has a thing against Jews. That's
You're
a
on the
fact,
list,
bro.
Dicelo.
Dicelo, come
Yeah,
on.
Dicelo, you're a Hitler apologist,
Dicelo,
and Lion's gonna
dude.
tell
I got
everybody.
like 2% Nazi in my blood. I'm just saying, bro.
Dicelo,
It's
you're
all
a
right
Hitler
though. Like,
apologist,
listen,
and Lion's
I'm a
gonna tell
self-hating. I'm a
everybody.
people,
Gio,
self-hating
you're a
everybody's
Jew.
scared
Hitler
to come forth
apologist.
now,
Lion's
right?
gonna tell everybody.
Dude,
Beast,
are
you're
we
a
just
Hitler
gonna let
apologist.
Galatrax just run the
Lion's
chat,
gonna
dude? I
tell
can't.
everybody.
He's gonna project, and I can't
we
even
gotta
talk,
go.
dude.
We gotta go one at a time, and if it's not happening one at a time, the answer is not to like keep going to barrel through because that's what when it gets worse. So we have to pull back. Whatever's happening, we have to do something, and not just barrel through. Okay, so we'll just hold on. Let me just say, like, dude, I'll even take a little flipped position for the moment, and I'll actually give a shout out to Hitler because I mean, if he's a human being, he has a human soul, and that human soul probably did have some good things about him. You know, maybe he gave good hugs, or maybe I don't know. You know, maybe he was really good at taking drugs. Is what I've heard. Whatever he was good at. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, you could even take it another position to say that he was a human. You know, now he could have had some very heavy, like, demonic possession going on. So his overall, because like when you say like a bad guy, I was gonna say this earlier. I know it's kind of semantical, but I don't really think of anyone as a bad person overall. Like people have a lot of like very deep trauma or very deep darkness going on and things like that. But that doesn't mean that in totality they're just all bad. I don't, you know, in that sense, but there's all the different layers. So, I mean, there's probably was some things about
Put him on the list, Lyin.
Probably, if this puts me back.
No. That's not how it works, bro. I already explained. Hitler did good things, right? Hitler did good things.
You add
Does
me
that
to
make
the
him a
list?
good guy? No,
Lion
bro.
is on
Hitler's
his
a
own
bad
list.
guy. Hitler's a bad guy, and I'm not here to say that, dude.
Well, I don't have.
I'm not defending his. Nor do I defend his actions at all, dude.
If I
But does this come down to? Hold on. Does this come down to basically like like racism in a way, and like the darker, like the kind of like genocidal racism? Because like when you were saying I had zero, like because that's what I was, you know. Also, I come thinking of it now as linking back to that, like any level of racism. But is that kind of what it links to? Like one race is better than another, basically. Either that one race is better and or linked with killing one or the other, or you know controlling one from that, or either controlling or killing, or doing things like that. Of a level of like, is that what this all kind of boils down to in a sense? Is
Yeah,
a level
it's
of
a combination
and racism?
of prejudice and discrimination against Jewish people, having extreme Jewish disdain, right? Not just like, oh, you know, I don't like the banksters. No, it's hating the people overall and their belief system, including the fact that they keep Torah and the Sabbath and wear zizis. Because I also keep Torah, keep the Sabbath and wear zizis, right? And there's people that hate the Jews, like just completely hate the Jews, and then have an affinity for Hitler. You don't fit that criteria, and you don't. And just because Hitler did good things doesn't make him a good guy, or you can be neutral stance. Hitler might have done good things for Germany. I'm not afraid to say that Hitler's a bad guy.
Well, I was always wondering where Netanyahu was coming from when he was throwing flat earthers into this Jew hating groups and stuff, and literally labeling us as terrorists alongside of Hamas and all these other organizations that they're at war with simultaneously. I'm curious, have you been writing him letters and like sending Sending people to
you just say Jews, and you're so broad. Listen, Daslo, you're one of the ones who say the word Jews so many times, and it's never a good thing. And you're broad brushing a whole people group, so to spread that propaganda, to me, it's just moronic that people don't get it, right?
We're not allowed
You're broad brushing a whole people group, and you're spreading.
Yeah, I've been asking to go next for like 5 minutes. Can I chime in?
So
let North talk, dude. He
God,
barely
what is
talked, dude.
going
You've been
on here, man?
hogging
Like
the.
there is
I
no
know
reason.
Galatrax.
There is no reason. It's just disruptive.
I've been asking to go next for like 5 minutes. You guys just keep chiming in, so stop that.
Just a minute.
Galatrax, let North talk. You've been hogging the chat, dude.
Just 1 second, bro. I'm going to keep talking. Is there any concession that when you use a term that broad brushes a whole entire people group, and then you are blatantly disregarding them as a people that can have good this gets me so upset, man, that you don't understand it and you mock it, right? And you ignore the fact that you're spreading propaganda. It's moronic, bro. It's stupid.
I agree with you, North.
But North, it does happen.
I want to relocate teeth, bro. I'm telling you, this is stupid, man.
But it happens in a lot of different areas, like in life, though, when people get categorized in with things, in a lot of different areas of life. Like, so meaning that, like, for example, let's take the word Christians. I mean, Christians, like the Catholic Church is very different from other, the Christian mystics, for example. Like
why not the Greeks?
Yeah.
Why not the Africans? Why not the blacks? Why won't you guys say that? I mean, what's the deal, man?
People do say that, man. I get thrown into, so if I mention like even the
hold on for a second. Do you put up with it when they do that? Do you put up with it or do you correct them? There's no concession. You're broad brushing an entire people group. Daslo does it all the time. Of course he's on the list. He's on my list. He does it all the time.
I chime in. I've been waiting like 10 minutes now.
We have to go one at a time. Let everyone say their full point. As long as no one monologues, like as much as we can, try to keep your points within like 45 seconds, it seems, for the pacing we're at. Maybe 30, 45. So as long as we do that, let's just not interrupt and let everyone say their full point, because that part is frustrating. At least the conversation is intense as it is, but at least we need to be able to say our full points. So let's not interrupt.
Am I on anyone else's list? Just
you're on multiple of my lists. Multiple lists.
We have hunters in our presence.
Okay, so how do I get in this conversation?
If there was a category, Dyslow, for insulting jokes, you would be on that list, because your jokes usually are like an insult and a joke combined.
Okay, but I'll say one thing.
Hold on, wait, Yasuke, hold on. Let's let Galatrax get in. He has been asking. Do you want to go next? You can go next.
Yeah, I've been asking for like 10 minutes. So, North, totally agree with you. We shouldn't paint a whole group of people with a broad brush. I think that's a horrible thing to do. We especially shouldn't do it without any proof, baseless accusation. If we just accuse people of stuff and force them to prove their innocence under our own, standard of innocence, under duress and veiled threat, that we're going to slander them if they don't prove their innocence, that's a problem. And then if they get offended by the accusation, we just insult them over and over again, say they're overly emotional, gaslighting, projection, autistic, Asperger's. That's not a good way to go about any type of conversation. That's the entire point.
Are y'all still on this?
I think anyone who's friendly, I'll just say this. I'll say this.
Hold on, North. Hold on, North.
Nobo's on the list. Yep, we're putting him on the list, right?
You can go after Yasuke. You can go after Yasuke.
No, not that list. The other list. But anyways.
So my point was that to say that everybody who said some anti-Jewish rhetoric as a Nazi is to say that anybody who's ever said a conspiracy is David Icke. Like it's like the amount of people that have said anti-Jewish rhetoric in the world who are vaguely Nazi is like 2%, if anything. Are you going to say that the entire Arab world for 1,000 years was Nazi, when Nazis didn't even exist back then? Because they're saying all the same things that you're saying that people here have said, which makes them Nazi sympathizers. Is the entire Arab world Nazis for 1,000 years?
I say this: if you're in a server or you're anywhere, and you use that broad brush term Jews, right? And you're speaking ill of the entire people group, Or if you're friends with that person and you associate with them and you support them, I say you're a moron. And you're spreading propaganda.
And that's actually not
You're
the truth.
spreading
I actually
propaganda.
make the distinction and
And
say Zionist.
it needs to be exposed that you are spreading propaganda. And you really can't deny it because it's really just common sense.
Okay,
right?
well, can I respond to that? Because I mean, he's already labeled me under that category as using the Jews in a broad way.
You've done it many times. You've done it many
when
times.
I clearly, yeah, I'm speaking now. When I clearly separate the distinction between a Zionist versus a Jew, and I always do when I get into this conversation, because I do feel that point is actually important. So the fact you put me on that list just goes to show your character of being
You just
dishonest.
did it the other day. You just made the distinction because you were called out on it the other day.
I'd like to go
No, bro, I do it all the time. So you're completely dishonest and you're a liar.
Yeah,
You're
two
the one
people were
who.
trying
Hey,
to get
listen.
in.
You're the
Wait,
one who
hang
said
on.
that 3 Jews.
Hang on, North. Just two people were trying to get in. Zinact and Biasticles already were trying to get in for like 5 minutes. I don't know
I'll let Siak
I
go first
I
because
want to share this one thing, bro. Just
Hold
one
on,
thing, and I'll
North.
go out and I'll stay out, bro. I'll stay out
this
for a
is why
while.
we have to not do accusations because like Daiso just completely accused North, so like now like North has to be able to defend himself or whatever. I mean, I don't know because we gotta let's not like make a habit of all this because it's just a mess. Once you accuse someone and stuff, it doesn't. Okay, can I just say one nuance here that could be the case? Dysel, or could go for anyone. I don't even know Dysel if this is the case, or maybe with Biasicles as well. If it's a situation where I don't know for sure, but I'm just saying in general, the word just JEW, just that in and of itself is very like a loaded term in today's world for a lot of reasons. Just in terms of World War II, and then other reasons as well. Many for the Christianity, the very strong Christianity presence as well, just in the world in general. It is pretty much like the world's #1 religion, as it were. That's kind of what they claim, as it were, and certainly in the top few. And then everything that's linked to that. So like all I was trying to say real quick, if you use that term in a way that is a little more flippant, where you mean the one thing, but someone else could take it as the other thing, maybe that could be what's happening.
Well, so again, I never accused anyone of anything, first off. Secondly, I always make the distinction between what I'm saying because I feel that point is significantly important. So for him to go ahead and say that I didn't and this and that, and it's like I haven't even talked to this guy. He hasn't even been in the server for I don't even know how long. So I don't even know. It's like I feel like he's just on attack mode on me.
I'm just going to
respond. Been on
respond.
attack mode on me since he's come back into the server. It's been nothing but a problem towards me from you, North. So
hopefully I can respond. The reason you have an issue with me, and I want to respond to you and give you some evidence, but I'm going to be really quick, and I'm just going to say this: I would like to have a cordial conversation with you and not argue with you because you always try to provoke me to anger, and you do not always make the distinction. I've heard you more than 20 times just say the word Jews and speak derogatory things towards those people, that whole entire people group. Now, you yourself, it's been over 6 months since I've been here, but over 6 months ago, there was a news story about 3 men attacking a Jewish man. You came in and you said, "Oh man, these Jews, man, there was 3 Jewish men who attacked this Palestinian man," and I was like, "Daslo, that's untrue," and you weren't speaking. I didn't interrupt you, and so when I corrected you on that news story, I was immediately muted. And so that's just a fact, okay? And you've not made the distinction many times when you've said that word Jews, right? And so that's
Okay,
I
bro.
think
All
that's
right, you're just
evident
on
to a
repeat
lot
now,
of people.
bro. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, I'd like to. I was waiting to go next here. And Dysla, you did just make the distinction. You just said that I use Zionists versus Jews. There's a difference. It's an important distinction. Just like anyone in here, in this room, should make a certain distinction and be specific about what they say and not use any broad brush in any topic because generalization is wrong. We all know it's wrong because there's nuance to fucking every subject. Every subject has nuance. So I just like to point out that we need to not make accusations about someone's character, what their position is, like building a straw man to attack and basically say, "Oh, I'm not going to listen to you. You're a Hitler apologist now." Like, I don't think anyone should be labeled that way unless they actually say, "Yeah, I'm a Hitler apologist."
Right.
Right?
And just saying that I heard you say something and you're trying to like demonize my character and paint me with that brush right now,
Yeah, not cool.
which is really incredulous, and that's an accusation. So unless you have something to support that with, like, I suggest you just keep your deluded thoughts to yourself instead of trying to poison my name.
All right, so you've been on this topic for like about 2 hours.
Yeah, put Elbow on the list.
4 more hours. 4 more hours, Elbow.
No, dude, I'm not.
hours.
I'm not laughing at like okay, I know whatever, but I am over here LOLing as it were in real life because just the way you said that, dude. That was like that could be in like a comedy clip or something. You're like, yeah, just keep your deluded thoughts to yourself and don't poison my name. You said something like that. I don't know. I'm just
everything
laughing.
you said was a lie, bro. Everything you said
I'm
was
not
a lie.
laughing
That's
because of
funny,
the
isn't it?
intensity. I'm not laughing because of like the intensity of like the emotional part of it. I'm just laughing because of like, I don't know. Just it's like I would be out of like it just reminds me of like a comedy clip or like out of a movie or something.
Hey, Gio, do you deny that that he has said that word several times without?
Yeah, so
Do you
what?
think
I'll do it
everything
right
he
now.
just said?
Jews.
Do you think that everything he just said was a lie that you laughed at?
Don't hesitate, Gio. Hesitation is
I
indicative.
mean, okay, if we're talking about like JEW or JEWS, like Jews, like we're talking about that actual word and then how people use that. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So some people I am very like sensitive about not using it for all these reasons we're talking about. So I'm very like, I try to not really use it in normal speech and then I'll use it at times if needed, but I'll say like Jewish if I'm actually talking about that. But yes, because yes, that's the thing. Like, for example, because you're looping a lot of people in together, and then I understand how like the world at large too. There's a larger thing of this too, the anti-Semitism, and then what is and what isn't. If you're asking me like to go through different people, like do I think they use that term and then use it in a way where they might be saying it in a joke or in some kind of other way that could be construed one way or the other? Yeah, I suppose I could think about any individual person and think of of where and then are you then using that as a measure to that they have some kind of anti-Semitism? Is that what it comes down to? Like using that as a measure is the claim, and in the tone of their voice or something, and trying to imply trying to inflect upon that because that's getting into definitely.
Who else does that,
I
Gio?
think we've all in this server
Woke
heard many
liberals.
people say that word, and it's only derogatory and it's not a joke, and it's actually people sharing their disdain, and so we've all heard that many times, and I'm not going to say it again, but there are several people who do that all the time.
North, you're a Christian?
Listen, I'm just stating the facts. This happened
I'm
many
asking you a
times
question.
by several different people.
Are you a Christian?
Do you think what I'm saying is a fact?
Hold on, I'm
They don't
literally
answer
just
questions,
right
Beast.
now,
Lyin and North don't answer questions.
I don't get it. Like, are you a Christian? I have a specific question after that. Yes or no?
Am I a believer in the Messiah? Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that usury is bad?
Of course I do, but I also believe something that's bad is to broad brush a whole entire people group and say you didn't never do it.
So do you think that anyone committing usury should be called out?
Yes, most certainly. And everyone who's using propaganda such as that term that we're speaking of, the J, and just broad brushing an entire group of people, that should be called out. And there should be concession instead of ignoring the problem and acting like they never done it and then claiming I'm lying and poisoning their name. It's ridiculous.
I'm just gonna say it.
It's ridiculous.
Like, being unironically a Nazi supporter is very cringe, but this like modern, like liberal, like classical, like 90s Fresh Prince, oh, let's just all get along and like, don't ever paint any broad strokes is like just such cringe, like boomer talk. Like there's so much nuance in these conversations and just saying like, oh no, like it is just literally the boomer position. And it is just, it's probably one of the biggest issues in the modern world.
I agree, because it gets you nowhere.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
If people just make vague, broad-brushing statements, then you're never going to get anywhere. Once you have to get specific for a reason, right? You have to specifically point out a specific problem, right? Like usury. Usury is bad. Usury is literally a sin in the Bible.
Like if you're afraid to say that there are group differences and that is something that is a thing that is real and is a useful thing that you should take into account, that there are group differences, and you're afraid to talk about that, then like you're just not getting anywhere.
Okay, well, if we can be specific, I have a hypothetical for the people who take the neutral stance on history. If
we could hear you, that would be
yeah.
nice.
You're roboting. Yeah, you're roboting. Just
sorry.
Just give it a minute.
My time now.
All right, who's next?
Zynact.
Siact.
Siact is next.
We're not doing
Great.
poetry.
I
night,
think I had
Jack.
patience enough now. 4 hours, 42 minutes. Great. Applause to me. Okay. So finally, I can get to point out the very premise of the entire conversation.
You have 10. You have 10 seconds starting now.
Yeah, wrap it up, dude.
Oh, great.
10 seconds. Go ahead.
No
3,
rush. I need you to.
2,
No rush. I need you to be done in 5 seconds.
No, but you just got to keep
right.
you should just get in more frequently, but in shorter bursts. Like just give us like a good 45 seconds, and then let some other flow.
Thank you.
And then come in with another 45. Bam, because it's a good flow that way. Then people feel like they can get in, and we're not all listening to only one person. And all that.
Yeah, I took no acting classes on human behavior and how to engage with another person on the stage or anything like I don't know. But
all right, you're already 30 seconds deep.
All right, yes, great. Yes,
guys,
it does.
Martin,
Because
go ahead,
it
guys,
me how to
stop
speak.
interrupting. Martin, go ahead, guys, stop interrupting. Go ahead, Martin.
Yes, please stop interrupting me by explaining me how to speak. Thank you. Okay.
Give him 30 minutes.
Simply engaging in a thought experiment. I had to write this down. It took 4 hours before I could speak. Engaging in a thought experiment about how the Nazis might be justified morally is not itself a sign of Nazi sympathizing, but rather an exercise in critical thinking, dialectical reasoning, and intellectual integrity. And you wanna know why? Here's why. First and foremost, the nature of thought experiments are for logical analysis and not expressions of belief. The second is that the principle of intellectual honesty, which is open-minded inquiry, requires that all positions, even those we reject, be understood in their strongest form before they're being dismissed. And the third is distinguishing between exploration and endorsement, meaning that if you're exploring how Nazis might attempt to justify their actions, is not the same as accepting or agreeing with their justifications.
Exactly.
Fourth, strengthening moral and ethical frameworks. If one refuses to engage with reasoning behind the moral acts, one may be ill-equipped to refute them effectively because you don't even know the argument. And fifth, historical and philosophical precedents. Yeah, for example.
Wow, man, that was very well said, sir. Very well said.
And then very last, to just top it off, I'm not finished. Last point, the very logical and just act. The only way to determine if something is truly indefensible is to test whether it actually can be defended. So if you're engaging in a thought experiment where you're to think freely and engaging in the masking illusions, wrestle with even the darkest ideas, man. You got to do that.
Yeah, and the part like the steelman part where you said that you have to understand the best form of the opposing argument. That part I really appreciated that. I wanted to say something on that. Yeah,
I want to thank everybody for letting him speak the whole thing.
But you're still a Nazi sympathizer, though.
Yeah, it sounded like it. I was all sympathetic towards the Nazi. Thanks,
also, just gotta quickly clarify the position
I have blue eyes, blonde hair, white skin. I'm Aryan. Am I a Nazi sympathizer? Am I a Nazi sympathizer for being proud of my own race?
The way you said race, yes.
Yeah, I could see the twinkle in his eye.
Yeah,
if you think race exists, then you're a Nazi.
When Gio said more things that would be indicative of Nazi sympathizing than I did, so if anything, Gio is too guilty by association.
I think Lyin hears the authentic and genuine frustration in my voice with being the very race that never gets to express the emotion that is infueled with being Aryan.
The Lyin is Lyin here.
Can never be proud of my race.
You're still going.
One second, Martin.
Give us a sec.
He's only
Jeremy.
on the first paragraph, bro.
Jeremy.
All right, let's give CX 17 more minutes to make his thing.
Don't be
mean. Let
is Lyin here?
Yeah, don't mock him, man.
Is Lyin here?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening.
Am I on your list?
No, I've never heard you defame the Jewish people.
Hold on.
Did it like 10 minutes ago, bro.
Did I?
Are you
out of your mind? Did I
because we're
defame
having
them?
this. Hold on, dude. I can't even get a sentence out, dude. He asked me a question, and 5 people want to clip me, dude. Hold on,
they're
guys.
all reacting, but let's let Lyin go. Yeah, let's go.
Oh my goodness, bro. So again, there's a spectrum here, right? You guys are trying to put like a dichotomy. It's ironic because you were accusing me of a false dilemma, right? There's a spectrum of people here. We have people that just have extreme disdain for the Jews. That just having extreme disdain for the Jews doesn't make you a Nazi sympathizer either, right? But you have people that have extreme disdain for the Jews and constantly have Jewish jokes, shit on the Jews, discriminate against the Jews, or prejudice against the Jews, right? And now they're being confronted, and nobody wants to come forth, right? And then there are people that hold on. There are people also that because of their discrimination of the Jewish people and their disdain for the Jewish people, that's clouded their judgment, and they have an affinity for Nazi Germany, dude. It's not just about looking at it objectively.
You are literally
like a neutral
ruining
judge.
your credibility right now, dude.
No. You can be a neutral judge, right, and observe both sides and denounce both sides, like I do with politics, with left and right paradigms. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with people that are adamantly have a fondness of Nazi Germany, bro. Stop with the cap.
He's ruining his credibility, dude. I'm done. Like, you ruined your credibility. Anyone who thinks that you're a Nazi sympathizer just because you're justifying Hitler's actions in terms of like supporting Germany or anything like that. Oh, you're a Nazi sympathizer. You're a Hitler sympathizer, dude. That's insane, Lyin. I expected better
I
of you,
saw
bro.
Kanye West wearing a shirt with a Nazi sign on it. They're like, no bullshit. He's been walking around with it. So I don't know. You got to put him on the list, Lyin. Just saying.
That you should be held to a higher standard because you're a Christian. Like, you should be held to a higher standard. You're bearing false witness and shit.
Yeah, can I get in here? Because like I
denounce Hitler. Hitler's a bad guy.
Yeah, so can I make a statement real quick? Here's the thing, Lyin. We're not accusing you. Okay, Elbow, is that Elbow interrupting me?
No, it's Fresh.
All right, hang on 1 second, guys. Look, if you say we're accusing you of doing a false dilemma, that's inaccurate. It is, in fact, a false dilemma to say, if you don't say Hitler's a bad guy, then you are saying Hitler's a good guy. That is a false dilemma. That is fallacious. That is deceitful. And it's also a slew of other things, man. It's a veiled threat. You're saying, I'm going to paint you as a Nazi sympathizer. I'm going to say you're anti-Semitic if you don't do what I want. That is a false dilemma. It's not we're accusing you of it. It's just a fact of something you did. You did that factually.
Wait, Lyin, do you agree with that or not? Do you say you did do that or didn't do that?
You just said it again. You said Hitler was a bad guy.
No, that whole false dilemma thing, because it's like that has to be resolved. It's been gone over like at least 15 times.
I heard Galatrax say that 17 times. I know.
It hasn't been addressed yet. That's my issue. It hasn't been addressed.
Lyin has not addressed it yet.
He just keeps saying, "Oh, you keep saying I did that."
I have addressed this, right? So in this specific instance, when I put Galatrax on the witness stand, right, or he was the defendant, and I'm the lawyer, right? I'm asking him, "Hey, do you think Hitler's a bad guy?" And then you hesitate or you're reluctant answering. That's indicative, right, of the previous point that I was trying to make, that you're a Hitler apologist.
Gio, say you're my best friend.
You can act like that's a false dilemma, right? But in this specific instance, I'm using the Socratic method to pull information out of you that you're not trying to admit to. Like right now, nobody wants to admit to be a Jew hater. Nobody wants to admit to being a Jew hater. Nobody wants to admit to being a Nazi apologist. So the only way that I can pull that information out of you is if I use the Socratic method.
Okay, Gio, please, Gio, say that you love me right now, or else that means you hate me. And if you hesitate at all, it means you really hate me.
Yeah, that's.
See, if somebody did that, I would just be like, okay, that person's going through a process, and I don't have to. Nobody has to do something for someone.
Exactly.
In that way. So you don't even have to respond if you don't want. But you also have to have compassion that they're going through something, and they might really want to in that example you're saying, they may really want to control you or whatever, and they're going through that themselves. So, but yeah, I mean, I hear you, because like Lyin, if you asked me that, like, was like that phrase, was Hitler a bad guy?
And if you ask what is the referent or what is your reference point, then that means you think he's a good guy.
And if you hesitate, that means you're even more guilty.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I could see a scenario that I would hesitate, and I would be like, "Well, what? Like,
Put him on the list.
What do you mean by bad guy?" I might say, like, "What do you?" Because the thing is, like I was saying before, like I don't think. Okay, in my viewpoint, I'm just gonna say like the human spirit, human soul. I'm just gonna use that phrase. That human soul, human spirit. I'm just gonna use that very generally. I'll even use both soul and spirit. Like, is what actually fuels the human body to even function. Like the liver, the heart, the brain, the neurons. It actually needs that, and that's why when it's not there, the body's dead, as it were. Like it doesn't have the life in it. And then that energy is good. Like the human spirit, human soul. That's the part of us that wants to like get along and love each other and hug each other and support and have a good time and all that kind of like. And well, not just have a good time. It's very generalized, but I mean, there's actually a lot more of components to what that refers to. But if I'm just putting it in that right now. And then you have like, let's say there's other like darker energies that can come through, as it were. And that is like opposing to like that human spirit energy that wants to like, support each other, get along and have synergy and do artwork together and creativity and enjoy life and enjoy each other, all of that, etc. Like that is replaced with, you
got 35 more seconds, Gio.
Replaced with...
You cut out. Yeah, you cut out.
Gio, you cut out. I think your mic cut out.
Nah, he's hesitating, guys. I think we need to put him on the list.
He's like,
guys, we'll put him on the list, man.
right now.
Yeah, he's deep in thought right now.
Should I go next?
He's looking at his
Oh, can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, we
all
heard
right,
the hesitation.
Yeah, finish your point.
All right, sorry. Yeah. So what I was saying is that. Well, I'm just saying that, like, see, the reason I'm giving, because you were saying like the hesitating, and then that would give it away to you. I'm just saying like the whole point here is that I could be like, well, actually, what do you mean by a bad guy? Because like if the human spirit or human soul is fueling his body, then he at least has some of that goodness, as it were. If we just want to put it in a very like dichotomy, good and dark kind of light, to where maybe he was very kind to his grandchildren, or maybe he was good in this area of life, or maybe he was good at tennis, or maybe now that's kind of a pointless thing if he's good at tennis, but maybe he was a good father in some way, or maybe he was helpful to someone and was a good listener or something, whatever it may be. So I think like everybody has some good parts to them, but yeah, he clearly had, I mean, whoever he was and whatever was going on, probably tremendous dark energies going on as well. So, I mean, I guess in a way you could just label him as a bad guy, because it seemed like he had probably a tremendous amount of evil that was going on, probably behind all of what was occurring. I don't know is anybody really contesting that? Like, is anyone saying that he did not have like very dark evil energies? But
no.
Anyway.
But the issue is that like your consideration that's required and your nuanced answer requires a bit of consideration for a moment. And the fellow who's asking you if he's a bad guy wants the answer right away, or else you fail.
Or else you're not.
Or else he's going to slander you as a Hitler supporter. That's why I said, Gio, say you love me right now, or else it means you hate me. And if you hesitate, that means you hate me even more. It's like if I went up to someone and said, hey man, say you stopped beating your wife. If you don't, I'm going to slander you and tell everyone that you're a wife beater. And if you hesitate, that's way more telling.
All right, let's just try to move forward. I hear what you're saying, Lyin. Like, I don't know what these guys, what we got, what these guys. What do you guys?
I just want him to admit.
I want Lyin to stop.
Like Lyin, would you agree with
that?
Like, okay, that particular. Well, yeah, there's the accusation thing, because then that's part of what. But Lyin, like, would you agree that what he's saying right there is maybe like is like aggressive language that's kind of like could be seen as manipulative, like, because if they don't answer right away, because like I said, I just went through that whole long thing, but I could think of a lot of ways of answering something, and if someone's demanding you have to do it within seconds or else, you know what I'm saying, with an ultimatum, like if you're agreeing that you were doing the ultimatum, that can be problematic.
Yes, the Socratic method can be manipulative, absolutely, but that was my intent, is to be manipulative to get information out of him that he wasn't willing to concede. That's why it's used in court.
That's not true. So before you ask the question,
all right, sorry.
Oh, you're roboting. But before you asked the question, I said, I didn't say Hitler was a good guy. And I repeated, I didn't say Hitler was a good guy. And then you asked the question, and my response was, I didn't say Hitler was a good guy. So whatever you're saying about, oh, he wasn't willing to concede it, that's just not true. Because but I said it twice before you asked it, and then I said it again after you asked it. So what you did was a false dilemma. You said, if you don't say this, you're tacitly saying that. But it's worse than that, man. It's worse than a false dilemma. You threatened to slander me, which is what you ended up doing after the fact. You threatened to slander me if I didn't agree to your false dilemma.
Well, it's funny because North did the same thing to me, and they're like little buddies over here.
Yeah, North's been defending him this whole time. It's ridiculous. These two are ridiculous. Lyin, I want you to address the fact that it's a false dilemma under a veiled threat of
stop
duress.
talking?
If you don't address that, you're just being dishonest.
No, dude, you're not gonna control the conversation, bro. You're not doing that. I'm sorry, dude. You're not.
You've avoided this for 2 hours. Please address it.
Hold on. There's two things that we're dealing with here, right? We're dealing with the Jew hate, and we're dealing with the affinity for Nazi Germany, right?
Why are you obfuscating?
People are denying that there's been. No, I'm not obfuscating. Give me a second, right? Because I believe the reason that Galatrax was hesitant to answer me initially, right, is because of the peers. There's people in here, right? There's peer pressure for him not to just straight up denounce Hitler, bro. But when it comes to Trump, there's no problem. Everybody denounces Trump. We don't have to go through this whole process with Trump, right? But when it comes to Hitler, we have to go through this whole process. And the only justification I can use for that is what Riggs said, is because it happened 100 years ago. That's the only reason. That's the only. I'm not obfuscating. People in here are reluctant, right, and hesitant to call Hitler a bad guy, and they want to bring up, well, he did this and he did that.
You're repeating that, though, Lyin. You've already made the point,
so this is the point, right? The whole point is that people are hesitant to denounce Hitler.
Okay, great.
Wait, Gally, wait. I just gotta re-ask the same question because he's been avoiding it, and no one's getting any leadway. Lyin, is that not? Yes or no? Is that not a false dilemma that you set up for Galatrax? Yes or no, bro?
Hey, your hesitation is very telling, sir.
Dude, I already explained myself, dude, and I got one bar.
No, you haven't.
No, you haven't. You haven't answered it for 2 hours. If you say you've already explained yourself, that's, guess what, a lie.
Gaslighting now, dude. Same thing you keep projecting me of and other people.
My point. I already explained to you. It wasn't the answer.
It's a yes or no.
It wasn't the answer.
It's a yes or no. Was it a false dilemma or not? It's a yes or no. No more obfuscation. Was it a false dilemma or not? It's a yes or no.
No, it's a true dichotomy.
Okay.
All right, he's not admitting.
Okay,
so can I respond to it?
Because
so wait.
I want to critique his Socratic method.
Go ahead, Rick. I want to say just one quick thing, but go ahead.
Okay, if you want to say something quick, go for it.
Why did it take you 2 hours to answer that one simple question? My first question. Second question is, how is that not a false dilemma? You literally said, if you don't say Hitler's a bad guy, you are tacitly saying Hitler is a good guy. That's the definition of a false dilemma, but it's worse than that. You said it under a veiled threat, i.e., you're going to say, I'm going to slander the shit out of you for days if you don't do what I say, which is admit that I'm right in this weird argument. Now, you said I hesitated. That's a lie, because what I said before you asked that was, I never said Hitler was good. And then I said again, I never said Hitler was good. And then you asked me, my answer was what? I never said Hitler was good. How could I hesitate if I'm repeating something that I said before you asked it? So you're just lying.
Do you want to respond to that?
Dude, I already explained.
Okay, cool. You've already said it? You've already said it then. Cool. I want to critique this Socratic method that you're employing, Lyin, because this is the drama that's been created because of this Socratic method that you're justifying the use of. Can we go through that?
Before you do, can I just say that I think it's very problematic to call somebody... Well, okay, I'm going to say this, and there's a lot of nuance even to what I'm about to say, but I'll try to make it brief. To calling somebody a liar, even if they lied. I know you could say if... I'm not saying Lyin did or didn't lie. Yes.
Only one person in here that has not lied.
Let me explain though. Let me explain really quick. This is what I mean by it. This is what I mean by it.
Point to one person in here that has not lied, including Galatrax. Thank
if I
you.
lie, call me out on it. I'll apologize for it. I didn't mean to do it. I made a mistake. If Lyin lies, he's gonna waste everyone's time for 6 fucking hours.
Well, hold on.
Well,
man.
in the grand scheme of
just
things,
chill out.
biblically, in the grand scheme of things, we're all bad, right? We're all flawed. We've all lied, but that's not the point, right? We're having a specific conversation, right? People have no problem denouncing Trump. When it comes to Hitler, everybody hesitates, and they're accusing me of using a false dilemma. And because at the end of the day, it's a true dichotomy here. Either Hitler's a good guy or he's a bad guy. You guys are trying to say, well, I'm neutral. There's not enough evidence. Come on, dude. Stop with the cap.
So it's not saying either Hitler's a good guy or a bad guy. It's you have to make a claim that Hitler's a bad guy, or else you're saying he is a great guy. That was your specific dilemma. That's like me saying you have to say that you love me, or else you're definitely saying that you hate me. And if you hesitate, you mean it even more. You understand that that's borderline personality disorder type stuff, man.
I don't think he understands, Gally. It's been 6 hours.
No, I do understand. I already explained to you.
I don't think he's capable of understanding. I think you definitely have some type of mental deficiency here, man.
So if it's not a true dichotomy, what's the third possible option, right? Give it to me.
That we don't have enough information, which is what Andrew said, which is what Theo said, which is what Piastically said.
That's what I already said that. I already said that, and that's a cop-out because if it comes to Trump, you have no problem, right? But when it comes to Hitler,
you're talking about someone who's living today, you
we have
retard.
plenty of evidence. You guys want to use a cop-out? Well, I don't have enough evidence. It happened so long ago that I still have to assess my.
Dude, Lyin, you're ruining your credibility.
Bro, I'm not ruining the credibility.
Man.
It's a true dichotomy, bro.
Alive today.
Either Hitler was a good guy or he was a piece of shit. That's it, dude. Stop with the cap, dude.
No, that's borderline personality disorder talk, man.
You want to be neutral like Canada. You want to play neutral like Canada because that's a comfortable position, just like the agnostics. Well, I'm going to be agnostic because that way I can't make a positive claim, and this is my little safe spot. Come on, dude.
Agnostic
Stop
is
with
a
the cap.
way better position than atheist. Why do you have a problem with agnostic?
It's a cop-out, dude. It's a cop-out.
Right, so that's what borderline personality disorder people say. They say you have to love something or you have to hate it. Like, that's not an actual nuanced discussion. So yes, there are other options. You're just acting like there's two options, which is the definition of a false dilemma. And the reason you won't say it's a false dilemma, because you know it frames you as dishonest, and you don't want to accept that framing. You've been dishonest. You've lied about stuff. You're a dishonest person. The way you've went about this whole thing is extremely dishonest. Your credibility's shot.
All right, so the thing is, if I really thought that you were being like neutral because you really wanted more information, then I'd be like, okay, but that's not the case. We have plenty of evidence. I've already posted plenty of evidence. You didn't hold on. You didn't consider it evidence, right? Even though we have plenty of medical experiments that the Nazis did, you didn't denounce any of that. You're like, well, how do I know that's true?
No, hang on. That's not what I said. Now you're misrepresenting that. So what I asked you about that was, do you believe the story of the lampshades and the soap being made out of Jews? And you said no. And I said, what if I presented you with evidence of lampshades and soap being made out of Jews that's stronger than the evidence that you presented? Would you believe it then? And you're like, oh, so now you're changing the subject? No, I'm asking you, if I present evidence that's stronger than your evidence of lampshades and soap, would you accept that? And you change the subject. So now, once again, you're misrepresenting what happens. You're introducing another non sequitur. The fact of the matter is, you made a false dilemma under duress that you'd slander the shit out of me for days. And then what did you do? You slandered me for days. So, like, what is wrong with you to not just admit, okay, maybe I made a false dilemma. Maybe I was wrong. You're just scared of saying, okay, I did something dishonest because you think that proves my point of you being a liar. But the thing is, all these lies that you do to protect it make you a liar.
So I brought up the pharmaceutical, right? The pharmaceutical synthesization that they did with methamphetamines. I brought up the unethical experiments that they did on twins and children. I kept bringing these things up, and you still wouldn't call Hitler a bad guy.
Okay,
how do you know that stuff's real, though?
Eric, I gave up, dude. I was trying earlier just to say my thing. I got bowled over. It's just like a freight train, and I'm in just a chill mood. I'm in a chill mood. I'm not trying to fight as much to get in. Because what I was trying to can I just say my thing now that I have the mic for a second?
I just got here. Fuck. Rightio, go ahead. I'll wait.
All right, after Geo, go ahead, Rick. Go ahead, Geo.
No, this is kind of a dumpster fire level of like Jerry Springer level of attacking. I don't. Can we not do all the personal attack stuff? Because like what I was saying about the liar thing, real quick. If you tag someone a liar, it's like liar, like it's like pasting it on them, and then like calling them that. It's just like nobody wants their reputation to be seen as that. Now, of course, if somebody did lie in some case, then that is a thing. But it's like, I just think like it's just two ways to view it. Like as a community, should we see it like, okay, that like let's say somebody did lie, to be like, okay, that person lied. It doesn't mean we have to like label them as like a liar for the rest of their life, but they did lie, and let's talk to them about it or help them work it out or work it through or figure out what's something like that. Versus just like all this calling them a thing, which is like pointing the finger, labeling them, and then what is that supposed to do? Get other people to also do that.
If I may, Gio, I'm sorry, guys. I'd like to apologize. No, please, I'd like to apologize. Look, Gio, I totally agree. We shouldn't label people as things that could be disparaging for their reputation, especially if we have no evidence to back it up. So I totally agree. We shouldn't do that, Gio. Do you agree with that, Lyin?
Okay.
Do you get the point?
Don't say Hitler's evil.
That's do you get the point though? Like,
what's more wrong? That's very reasonable.
What's more wrong,
position.
to call someone a liar when you have evidence to back it up, or to call someone a Nazi sympathizer with no evidence to back it up? That's been my whole point the entire time.
Well, stop, dude. Because I already mentioned.
You're not gonna address it, man.
How you wouldn't? How I brought up the medical experiments. I brought up the drug synthesization of methamphetamines, and we know that the reason that we have a lot of the medical industry today was because of the Nazis. I brought all this stuff up, and it's not enough for you to condemn Hitler, dude. And some of you, like, you guys want to stay neutral on the position for whatever reason because it's a comfortable position. You don't have to defend it, right? But clearly, I have no problem denouncing Hitler. Why do you guys have a problem denouncing Hitler? Like, what's the problem, guys?
I can address that. Gio, how come calling someone a liar is bad, but calling someone a Hitler sympathizer is not as bad? Especially if calling someone a liar, you have basis for it. And calling someone a Hitler sympathizer, he can just call anyone that, and he has called.
No, this is all a complete mess, dude. I mean, this is like a level of interpersonal fighting, like beyond anything we ever do here. So, like, in terms of, and people fight about certain topics, and it does go personal sometimes. But like, to have like, I mean,
wait, what?
And this is like just a level of like kind of interpersonal drama chaos that usually
not interpersonal.
Well, I mean, we could, I mean, there's been all kinds of stuff. Like if you talk about like the server guidelines or whatever, if you're talking that, like they've been violated by like everyone a million times. And then you guys that are mods too, some of it, what's going on. So I was just commenting on the one thing of a liar, because like you're being very aggressive and you're trying to label them. You're saying it over and over. It just doesn't feel like a good, like a productive exchange if we're going to keep doing it. Like you want to just, kind of call them out. So yeah, I was commenting on that one thing, but yeah, I mean, calling people, well, I mean, Lyin, I think there's a philosophy to what Lyin's saying in terms of like, I guess there's like a racist or anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic component to it, or just a hate for some kind of, certain group. And then it seems like maybe the control structure is like how that's all linked in together and stuff. So, but I hear Lyin's like philosophy thing. I mean, yeah, Lyin. I mean, yeah, if he's calling you a liar or whatever, and then, but you've done, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Like, I mean,
I'd like to let Rick
on,
speak.
Like, ideally, if people could like realize what they did and then move forward, if we're going to continue with like this like conflict resolution style thing. But I mean, it's just getting kind of brutal to listen to. Like, there's a lot of like fighting and drama and bickering and accusing, and then people not hearing each other out fully in a way. So I don't know. Like, this is like group therapy / fighting, which is normally not what we do. So I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
I get it, but like, you understand, it's
not even.
There's nobody in this channel that thinks that what he did wasn't a false dilemma except him. He's the only one here who thinks that wasn't a false dilemma.
Right? Yeah.
Even Torah said that was a false dilemma when he was here. So like, he's the only one that thinks that. So we're all wrong and he's right. And then also, Gio, my issue was that you said it's wrong to accuse someone of being a liar. Well, I'm accusing him of that with evidence, right? Like, I have a reason to do that. He's accusing people of being Hitler sympathizers with like no evidence. He has no metric of how like to do that. He just says it, right? So why is accusing someone of being a liar when you have like a reason to do that worse than accusing someone of supporting a supposed genocidal maniac, right? So I don't understand why one is called out, not the other.
Yeah, I never said anything was worse or better.
Okay, but you called out me saying he's a liar, but you're not calling him out for calling everyone Hitler sympathizers. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, dude, I mean, I don't know if we go through everything that's been said over some of these parts of what I've heard has been going on. I mean, we could go through that too. That's a whole separate thing. Now you're doing a thing where you're pitting me up against something that related to him that was not related to.
No, I'm not. It's on the point of moderation, brother. It's like if you're moderating that because it's wrong, you'd obviously moderate something that's definitely more wrong, right?
Yeah. No, I was actually making, dude. There's so much. If we're gonna do more strict moderation, I mean, there was so much stuff that's been said. If we want to go through that, or should we just time everyone out? We'll just time everyone. I mean, I'm just joking.
Okay, just time Galatrax. The man took 2 hours to admit that it was a false dilemma.
It's not a false dilemma, dude. You act like there's more than 2 options. What's the third option again?
That you don't have enough information.
Hold on. The point I was making. Hold on, Galatrax. I wasn't necessarily trying to single you out. I mean, in terms of all like the transgressions, if you want to get to like kind of like live streaming etiquette that have gone on, that's a whole other topic. The thing I was just pointing out about the thing is that you kept saying over and over like you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar. All I was suggesting is that like if you just want to call him a liar and never know him again, I hear you. Like I mean that's a whole thing, like whether you call someone liars, like what that represents. But at the same time, like if you're going to be in community and you want to continue to work it out, continue to just call him a liar. Like, what does that do? Like, I guess because like, what are you wanting him to do? You wanting him to admit that he lied ultimately, but by just labeling him that. So I was just pointing out that like I don't think is that a really healthy way to go about things? Even if somebody did lie, like I said, you could be like, okay, I think that there was a lie that occurred, or there was something that occurred, or there was a misinformation or whatever, and then trying to understand why they said what they said, and then trying to clarify that. And then I guess you could keep like exposing it if that's what you really feel like you need to do, like keep saying it, but then just at what level is like, what do you? I don't know. You just want to like whip him over and over and call him a liar? Is that? I mean, is that?
Yeah. No. Quick, 1 sec, man. Just 1 sec. It's a really quick answer, isn't it? Lyin, are you willing to continue saying the things that you said? Like the whole groups of people are Nazi sympathizers. Are you willing? Are you going to continue that on into the future in the manner that you've been doing it?
Yeah, that's a loaded question right there. Because I already clarified
are you going to do it in the future? Because if you do it into the future, then you are a liar and you're going to perpetuate a lie.
Right. And so you're going to take my sarcastic hyperbole out of context because you have apparently either disingenuous or have comprehension issues.
Wow, dude.
Which is literally what it is. Because I've already clarified that I didn't think that every single flat earther, I don't think every single flat earther is anti-Semite, Jew hater, a Hitler lover. Either in this server or in the other server. If you think that's what I said, you're really being disingenuous.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Why are you clipping me when I'm trying to answer you, dude?
Because you're not saying
why are you disingenuously lying about buying?
I try to respond.
Guys, we can't all go at the same time. I'm trying to tell you to finish what you're saying, man. Chill.
Dude, I've been trying to get in for the last half an hour pretty adamantly, and people have gone ahead of me. Like, excuse my sort of
go ahead, Rick,
needing to want to jump ahead. Okay, cool. So, Lyin, are you enjoying yourself? Is this enjoyable? Is this situation enjoyable for you?
No, it's absolutely not.
Cool. So you mentioned before that the reason why you went about this modality of revealing the truth of the individuals is you blamed it on the Socratic method. You said it was a good technique to use in which to flush people out. Do you still agree with that?
Yes, and I'll explain to you, right?
Okay, cool.
Because
no, that's all right.
All I'm trying to do
you've already explained it, dude. I just needed a quick yes or no. So, like, we've been led to this issue now, right? So quick question: would you agree that method would, you could flush out someone and identify them, right? If you want to put them on the spot and get them to answer really quick. How many false identifications are you going to lead to using that method?
It's not the preferred method, dude. I prefer people just be upfront.
So your methodology is then going to result in you accusing the wrong people? Is that what's going to happen eventually into the future?
No, but the point is that the reason I had to use I was reduced to using the Socratic method because people weren't trying to condemn Hitler.
Yeah, but
All
your
right, I'd like
method.
to
This is the
respond to
result.
Geo.
And
if that's all right.
then hold on, I'm almost done. So let me just, because when I
Stop.
pause, it's for like impact, right? Because if I just rant on, you guys aren't gonna receive it. So my point here is, right, I'm using a method of gaining information, gaining knowledge from individuals that aren't willing to concede or be upfront about their position, right? They want to act like they're neutral on this. Why are you neutral on this when I'm right now I'm posting evidence of abominations that the Nazis did, including Hitler himself, right? And you either
I condemn
move
them.
you
Condemn
shift the
them. Easy.
goalposts and act like, well, how do you know that's really what happened?
That's not about the dude. I'm worried about your
to be fair,
accusation, Lyin. I'm worried about your accusation. Nothing to do with the Hitler support shit, man.
Well, none of us were there. None of us were even alive during then. So, I mean, unless somebody in here was alive then, I guess they could be very young. But I mean, to drill someone Lyin like so intently and then like label them things on something that they were not even alive and have no firsthand, like none of us were even alive or there. So, I mean, we're all going off information that we have that we can put together the best we can. But I mean, to go after someone that hard for something that none of us can verify fully.
I understand, and that's all of history. Are we not going to throw all of history past 10 years ago? Because if that's, you got to be consistent now. You got to be consistent, because then this only happened this is under 100 years ago, right? And you guys are acting like we can't acquire any knowledge about 100 years ago. But when it comes to the counter narrative, you have no problem accepting the counter narrative.
Your methodology is going to end up in false witness and bearing false claims, right, Lyin?
Yeah.
Your technique is actually going to result in false claims.
No, but what I'm trying to say, like, where history is different than the scientific method, right? There's a different epistemology for acquiring historical truths, right? You have to use hostile witnesses. You have to use the neighboring countries like Poland and Denmark. You have to start using different witnesses and historical records and literature. And if you guys think it's all made up, it's all bullshit,
everybody.
then I can't do nothing, dude.
Hey, wait, Lyin, wait. Anybody? I have something I'd like to add. Hold
on, Kelly.
I get a second. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd
like to add something when I get a chance.
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was just going to offer a little philosophical input here, because I think that Lyin, even though this will sound like a criticism, it's not. It's actually to help you or help the situation in general, I think, which is that I think that you're not lying. I think you actually believe what you're saying, and you're bringing up an interesting point about the history and how to analyze history in an epistemological way, or how it is that you break it down and find the truth about history. So if that's something you'd like to offer as like a way of like analyzing the whole thing about Hitler and whether he was a good guy or not a good guy, then that'd be interesting. That'd be like conversational. But if it comes off as you saying you have to condemn Hitler based on the history that I'm not even telling you I found that you didn't find, and you all need to go by my reasoning about history and come to the same conclusion that I came to. Otherwise, you're a Nazi sympathizer and a Hitler sympathizer, and all these accusations go along with it, which makes it like everyone's on the defense. Because if you look at some of the history, I mean, like some of the things that people might have been influenced by to some degree, right, that you're talking about, if you were to steel man that whole like why they would think that Hitler's a good guy, there's obviously there's videos out there that make it seem that way, right? And I think you're accusing people of taking those videos as like the ultimate truth, and they're going by that version of history, and that's what you're accusing people of, falling into that trap, when maybe that they're just bringing that up as an option of what might have happened, since nobody can really know for sure, even with your Socratic method or your breaking down of history and the way you think it's going to come to the right conclusion. If even with that, you have to admit that we just don't know, because these things are concocted sometimes to give a certain narrative. And I think that, especially with flat earthers, when we're told the opposite of what's true, like about the earth, right? I think that it's an assumption sometimes on both ends, right? That if we're told one thing, it's the exact opposite of what we're told, and possibly, and when people talk about those possibilities, I think that you think, or maybe you're being assumptive, that they're buying into that whole idea that Hitler was nothing but great. But it's more about the content, like the way that we were sold Hitler wasn't quite as true as what we were told, right? And it could be even the opposite for all we know, because we can't really know for sure, right? So this is like, I think you're being assumptive, and I think you're being like you're on a witch hunt, and it just makes you come off like really, like it's just the approach is ridiculous. You're like out like on a witch hunt. It's like you're put people on trial, and if they don't agree with condemning him, and it's black or white, you have to either condemn him or they're a sympathizer. And it seems like you're just a little bit on your soapbox about it, and it would help you out a lot if you just like broke down why you think that your interpretation of history is accurate and offer it as a possibility for people to consider. You can't force them to interpret it the same way or believe what you believe about it. But that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to like put people in a box and label them, and that you don't like that either. I know you don't. I don't think you're lying. I think you're just being assumptive and hyperbolic. And you're even saying that yourself. You're saying I was being sarcastic and hyperbolic about it. But then at the same time, I want to condemn you or condemn Hitler. And if you don't condemn Hitler, I'm condemning you. That's the way it comes off from listening. That's the way it's coming off. And I just trying to say that's I think that's the way it's coming off, and maybe you don't realize that because you feel it's important, and that's fine if you feel it's important. It's just like trying to put people like that are your friends on some kind of like list, and then say you're still friends with them, but they're on the list. It comes off weird. That's all.
It's fucked up. Yeah.
No, yeah. So again, I'm still friends with people that think like this, bro. And the thing is, like, this is not.
Are they going to want to be friends with you?
Since I've been on Discord, bro. Since I've been on Discord, I've witnessed and heard and been around extreme Jewish disdain. So that's one thing. And on top of that, there's also the affinity for Nazi Germany and rationalizing Hitler's actions. Right now, there's plenty of his speeches that have been translated by AI. We have plenty of his speeches in the beginning of his political career and at the end of his political career. We've actually had debates and conversations about this in here already multiple times on record. I've also talked about Mein Kampf, his book that he wrote in jail. In his book, Mein Kampf, bro, he talks about his radical ideology. It's in there, bro, regarding segregation, subjugation of not only Jews but Polish people in general, the Czechoslovakian. Hold on. So when I bring this stuff up, bro, people question the evidence. They question the authenticity of the evidence. When that happens, bro, what am I supposed to do, bro? I'm dealing with people.
How do you know your evidence is authentic? How do you know for sure that your evidence is like beyond any other evidence? That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is what it comes down to. Right? Is there's a different epistemological approach regarding history, right? There's a different methodology, and it's not like science. I understand that, but wait.
So there's always going to hold on, bro.
Lyin, real quick. What I was saying is that's interesting. Do you see how it's more productive to just bring that up as your method of breaking down history and why you think it's valid, rather than putting people on the like list of some sort without them even knowing what you're talking about with your interpretation? Offer that up first. Go through it with people. Don't put them on a list because they're not agreeing with something that you've looked at and they haven't looked at. And your conviction to it means that they should have the same conviction. Otherwise, they're condemned like Hitler should be condemned. It's more interesting to make a conversational rather than trying to label people.
We don't need another Schindler's List.
Is a witch hunt.
Yeah. So what it is, right? Is that I'm observing this, I'm pointing it out, and everybody's saying, "Oh, that's not happening. But the Globers agree with me, right? A lot of people are witnessing that in the flat Earth community, there are people they're being labeled anti-Semite. Now, I don't agree with that term. I understand that term is a misnomer.
I know. Right? I heard you talk about this, and you say it yourself.
Now, the same evidence. Hold on. I'm almost done. I promise. I'll wrap it up.
The version we were given wasn't exactly what we were told, right?
Right.
You've even yourself said it's not exactly that. So if that's just given that alone,
how many times are you going to interrupt?
You have to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Is all I'm saying.
But, hold on.
If your version is also altered, just why make a list? Why not just make it a conversation?
Bro. Let me just, because it's a spectrum of things going on. There's a lot of things going on here. I'm simply grieving. I'm expressing my grievances regarding this community. If the shoe fits, wear it. Right? People aren't trying to own up to their anti-Jew rhetoric. Right? Now another thing is,
I think a lot of that's
hold on. When it comes to hold on, I'm almost done. Hold on, I'm trying to be very concise and very quick. When it comes to Trump, people have no problem disavowing Trump. When it comes to Hitler, people have a problem disavowing Hitler. And then when I bring up all the evidence that I'm using to disavow Hitler, they don't want to analyze the evidence and they question its authenticity. Fine.
No,
with the same evidence that I'm pulling forth, right? they'll use his speeches that were recently translated by AI and use it how Hitler was a good guy, how he actually was promoting unity and he wanted Germany to stop with the usury and do all this, right? But
real quick,
Hitler,
let me ask you:
hold
is
on,
any of that true?
Hitler
Is
was a
any of that true?
politician, bro. Hitler was a politician and he tickled people's ears, right? And for whatever reason, he gets a pass as a politician, dude. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that people are just giving him a pass. I think that everyone's speculative about what any of it was,
What
how true
actually
any of it
happened.
was. Right? Nobody knows for sure, right? So everyone's being a little bit sarcastic and hyperbolic about the fact that it's not exactly what we were told, and the extreme of it might even be true. We don't know that for sure, but here's the extreme, just like flat Earth. Like the extreme is it's actually flat. It's not even a ball. It's nothing like they're saying. They've completely reverse engineered it. And a lot of times I think that people get sarcastic and hyperbolic about their opinion being possibly the opposite. And then you're taking it as their conviction and being like Hitler, being a twinkle in their eye when they hear their name Hitler. When I think your interpretation of that is more about like people being hyperbolic and sarcastic. Like it could even be that Hitler was like actually doing good things instead of what we were told. And that's why they make demons out of people. And we've seen them do it before with other characters. They demonize something because it's actually the truth. And you've seen it yourself. You can name many examples yourself. So we don't know. And I think you're thinking people are have this like Hitler love that they don't have.
It's a way to shut down the conversation, Dave.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
No,
shouldn't
the issue is
used that way.
We're gonna have an EA moderator running around Discord accusing groups of people for being something that they essentially are not, and he's going to keep doing it, and that's problematic.
I don't think he's lying, though. I don't think lying's the right word. I think he's actually misinterpreting and assumptive and on a soapbox about this because of he's hyped up about whoever it is that he's listening to is hyped up about it, and he's giving that same energy to it. But you're condemning people unfairly.
The word is narcissistic because black and white thinking, all or nothing thinking, it's either from borderline personality disorder or from narcissism. It's this need to label and be right.
You don't want to let, but then there's no reason. Even though he's doing that, like you don't have to go then and try to label him.
Dave,
but why are you trying to make him?
As you turn around and label him.
You don't need to label him now. It's just like let's let it. Let's just explain where he's going wrong and not try not to do the same thing. Okay, that's all right. I got you.
It is a behavior. I'm not saying he's a narcissist. I'm saying it's narcissistic. It's a very narcissistic thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not labeling Lyin as a narcissist because honestly, it's the same thing labeling him as a liar. Like they're both calling the kettle black.
No matter how true it is, it's not productive to get beyond it. That's all.
Dude, things are gray. There's a whole lot of gray everywhere,
If I may just add in one quick thing. Sorry, Rick, I know you want to get in. Just let me add in one quick thing. The reason why I was calling Lyin a liar over and over again, I'm highlighting something here, right? So me calling him a liar is something that I can back up and substantiate. There's backing to it. It's not just a subjective opinion. It is a subjective opinion, but there's evidence to it. He's calling people a Nazi sympathizer and all these other things. He's labeling them as that with just his subjective reasoning, which we've demonstrated several times is flawed. So, if labeling him as a liar is wrong, the thing that we've been refuting him for 3 hours is more wrong. That's the point of doing that. Do you guys understand that?
Yeah, I think that.
He's
wait,
lying.
Real quick, hold on. Yeah, I think that no matter how true that may be, I don't think his intention. I mean, when lying is supposed to be like intentionally out to deceive, right? And I think he really believes. I mean, he's misguided and misinterpreting everything and being way overly assumptive. But I think he actually believes what he's saying, which is more fucked up, maybe, because
okay. And what if I really believe that he's a liar? Don't I have the same benefit of the doubt, Dave? What if I really believe he's a liar?
He's a liar. I think he's mistaken, not lying.
Okay, but you're saying him really believing it is what substantiates his claim, which again I said subjective opinion. What if I really believe he's a liar? So like that doesn't change anything. The point is my claim is more substantiated. His claim is way wider, and he can just say it about anybody and attack their reputation. My claim I can at least back, And it's a huge problem. And then if he threatens to damage the reputation if you don't answer his loaded question, look, the thing is, the man's been dishonest for like 4 hours. We ask him direct questions, he doesn't answer them. He just goes on this diatribe, this appeal to emotion. That doesn't help anything. We're asking him simple questions. Is it a false dilemma? Oh, well, let me tell you, the Jews are always being told that. Like, dude, is it a false dilemma or not? It took him 4 hours to say yes or no. It's a rhetorical device, or oh, I'm using just, this is a court case. It's like, dude,
he's
stop.
wrong. He's wrongly slandering more so than lying. He's wrongly slandering people.
Okay,
he's
so if
wrong
I call him a
about
slanderer and it's backed, it's still fine. I could call him a slanderer over and over again. It's still more substantiated than him calling all of us Nazi sympathizers.
Putting someone into a false,
and it's just not true. It's not true. You're right.
Putting someone into a false dilemma is bad. That's
I
all
agree.
agree with that.
False dilemma is also a lie, by the way, Dave. Putting someone in a false dilemma is also a lie. I can prove that right now, real quick.
He's wrong.
Dave, if you don't look, I can prove it. Look, Dave.
Deceive. I think
Dave,
he believes
I can
it.
prove that it's a lie. Just give me 1 second, right? Dave, tell me that you love me right now, or else that means that you hate me. And if you hesitate, it means it more.
Yeah, that's a manipulative false dilemma.
And he already said
that's
he
not
was
lying
being manipulative.
Okay, how is that not lying? I'm telling you that it means
and
you hate me. You know it doesn't mean that. I know it doesn't mean that. So therefore, it's a lie. We both know that's not true.
I'm just trying to get beyond it, bro.
Gio says order in the court.
Yeah, let's just. I'm trying to say a more productive way to move forward to show that he's completely wrong about what he's saying, rather than saying now I'm going to label you and you have to admit to my label because I'm not admitting to your label. So then it's back and forth and it's back and forth.
Not
Dave,
equivalent labels, though, Dave. Don't make it equivalent. It's not equivalent.
So I'm trying to get in.
Trying to help, bro.
Wait, Rick,
to help.
can I get in? Let me get in, please. Let me just say something. All right, Lyin, could just please stop using that tactic of putting someone in a false dilemma, even if you are trying to make a point. Could you at least agree to not do that anymore? And then also, accusing someone of being a Nazi sympathizer if they hesitate on the answer.
No, I'm not backing down, dude. I'm not, dude.
That's the problem, Gio.
Wait, Lyin,
hold on.
Listen, they've been
if
projecting.
they don't react to that though in the way you prefer, then you're gonna like wait. That's what I want to ask you. Are you gonna full blown call them?
No, dude. If you don't listen, if you don't condemn Hitler, bro, if you don't condemn Hitler, you're a Nazi apologist. I don't care.
Yeah, but then you're saying,
you can no matter how you chop it up, dude. I brought the evidence forward.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, Dave. Wait. Let's let Gio. Wait, Dave. Let's let Gio and Lyin hash this out because this is a problem.
Okay, all right. But I was going to offer one thing for Lyin real quick.
No,
dude,
Dave,
you're
stop, bro.
Hey, hold on,
Dave.
real quick. I want to make one last attempt at getting some reason from Lyin.
It's been 6 hours, dog.
In fact, I'm going to try to say it one more time. Ryan, you said you were being sarcastic and hyperbolic about it, right? You said you were being yourself, being sarcastic and hyperbolic, and then using these things to be effective and have some kind of impact, right? That's what you're trying to do. But at the same time, then you're saying, I'm seriously, on the other hand, condemning you if you don't react to my hyperbolic intended to have an impact rhetoric.
No, not at all. No. Actually,
and maybe maybe people are being sarcastic and hyperbolic themselves when they say that Hitler might not have been as bad.
Bro, I'm still friends with people that have this radical ideology. That's not going to ruin my friendship. I already explained this. My whole point of bringing is the whole reason that this started is because
people don't want to be friends with you.
New perspective, dude. There's people that deny the Sandy Hook incident. People that deny anybody died on 9/11. That doesn't affect our friendship. My whole point of this is people are denying in general that there's this affinity for Nazi Germany and also the rhetoric against the Jews that's rampant, right? That people hate on Jews constantly. There's jokes against Jews.
Quick.
That's the whole point, bro. People now it's turned into this. Now it's all turned into this.
Ryan, let me point out the difference. If someone says no one died on 9/11, then you're not going to go start labeling them some kind of bad word that associates people that think no one died on 9/11 and they're now labeled as some kind of 9/11 heretic, something like you're doing with the Hitler thing. Being a Hitler sympathizer has a lot of implications to it, and it means that they're like Nazis and all these things that you're implying to go along with it, which is not true whatsoever, dude. And once you realize that, then you'll realize why they're calling you a liar, because it's not true.
But news perspective, there is people like that in here. That's my whole point.
Right.
People are acting like those people don't exist. There are people in here that support and justify Hitler.
Name the people.
I've already. The thing is,
What's
when I
your
name
list?
them, they deny it, dude. It's funny. So
Yeah,
there are
but
people
there's a
that
reason
justify
for
the
that. There's a reason
expansion
for
of
that.
Germany, dude. The
All
conquest
right,
that Hitler
both
went.
of you,
Oh my
slow
God.
down, guys. Just because you guys are talking over each other. Lyin has named people, but everyone he's named, he immediately took off his list because his standard was proven absolutely worthless.
Dude, why are you strawmanning me, dude? You always do this.
You
Bro.
named Beast and you took
Not
him off your
strawmanning.
list.
You're
You named
projecting.
Andrew, you
That's
took
not
him
what
off your
happened, dude.
list.
I didn't take Andrew off the list. Andrew's still not a Hitler apologist, dude.
Even though he straight up said no, he's not.
Yes, even though he said it, no, he's not because you guys don't know what. You guys don't know
I heard
what
that conversation, bro. He said he doesn't know what actually happened.
Yeah, because he doesn't remember.
From what we're told,
but if you
doesn't
dude,
seem
hold
to
on,
be
dude,
exactly
hold
what we
on,
were
bro.
told. That's different.
All you have to do to be called the Hitler apologist is justify Hitler's actions. If you justify Hitler's actions, which
So
many
you're
people
comfortable
do,
with
they're
slandering
Hitler
him?
apologists. What's the problem? No, I'm not
Okay,
saying
they're
that. That's an
justified in
accurate-
hatred. They're justified in hatred.
bro.
Your argument.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, you guys, one
We
at a
gotta
time, please. How long has this been going on for? Like, this is
A long
just
time,
intense.
Redford.
Wait,
I'm ready to end it whenever you guys want.
Whoa. Okay, so I was listening to part of it before I jumped in. Like, okay, I didn't know you guys have been going on for that long though. But what is happening? So Lyin.
Oh, please don't make him recap. Please
Yeah,
don't.
please don't do. We don't want to do a recap. We're
I
like,
don't want to recap.
What is the end goal here? Because it does seem like there is a pretty severe issue here.
Sounds like Lyon's
There's two things.
defending Zionism because wasn't Zionism what year was
No. We can.
No, see, this is crazy. Now I'm defending Zion. More projections.
It's really.
I'll make it real simple, right? There's two things.
I don't want
One,
you to catch them up.
We don't need you,
keep
Galatrax. We don't need you.
Okay. You know
dude,
what?
We don't need you, dude. Hold on.
Crazy, man.
She asked me. So hold on.
No, she didn't.
There's two things. There's extreme.
No, she didn't ask you, bro.
No, she didn't ask you.
Narcissism.
All right, go ahead.
Look, I'm just gonna explain the situation. I'm gonna do it real simple.
Neither
and
one of you should. Neither one of you should because you're both biased.
Yeah.
All right, so then, Mister, can you explain the situation?
Sure,
Yeah, go
real
ahead,
fast. I've been listening to this whole damn thing. So basically, some claims were made about some characters and all of Ether Cause about they're not Nazi sympathizers. There was apparently a joke. When Galatrax approached him about this, there was some back and forth about the whole thing and some unclarifications. Apparently, Lyin was dishonest, and Galatrax has evidence to back that up. Lyin does not want to back down at all from his position that if you think Hitler was not a bad guy, then he was a good guy no matter what, and he will call you a Nazi sympathizer. He will blast you no matter what position you really hold, just because if you do not say he's a bad guy, well, then he must be a great guy. So that's where we've been at. They've been hashing this out for hours.
Okay, so then that definitely, like, I mean, if we're just even following,
I defend myself?
I mean, like, you just pushing your views on somebody like that, we can't do that. You can't just assume someone's gonna believe something because you show them something like a video, and that if they don't believe it, you believe. Like, I get the Hitler Nazi thing is like a big topic, and I know people deny it. I mean, I studied this in real life. Like, I mean. Anyways, Lyin, what? Like, it would be nice to have a solution.
That's not even a steelman of the whole position at all. That's an extreme
That was a good breakdown.
misrepresentation on my side, and extreme bias. You said that was if that was supposed to be neutral. That was bias against.
It wasn't, because like
that
I really
was not
don't
a representation at all.
I think.
Okay, you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to attack somebody else for trying to explain the situation.
So where Gally, I think, has gone a little bit awry was labeling Lyin as a liar, bold-faced, as that. He was definitely wrong in that. Even if he is being dishonest, that's a behavior. Lying is a behavior, but we can't be labeled by what we do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because I can do plumbing doesn't mean I'm a plumber. Just because I'm not always honest doesn't make me a liar. Like, it's something we try to practice. Honesty is something we practice. So I'm definitely more neutral than he thinks. I was the one that told Galatrax, and I asked the group, can we have an intervention on Gally because he can't drop this? So
okay, So
wait, real
after
quick,
how
real quick.
many?
I think that Lyin doesn't think that he's lying. I think he really thinks that
No, it's
he's
a
being.
narcissistic
Okay,
behavior.
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's the
Let
problem.
new perspective go, please.
I just think he's conviction. I mean, he's totally I mean, I already did the whole critique, but dude, you're the way you're coming off, man, is not going to make people want to keep their friendship the way you think that it's not going to affect your friendship. I mean, why do that to people that you're talking to?
Redford,
That affect you all the time.
Is this something that
You're
we should just
insulting
take a
people's
break
intelligence.
from
That's
because
what
the
you're doing.
emotions are getting a little too high and we should like reconvene? Because if you guys have been going at this for hours, like I'm sorry, this is really not a great topic to be going on about.
Redford,
This is day 3. This is kind of like the
Kelly, can I explain
catharsis
something
of
real
it.
quick? Can I just explain something to Redford real quick? The very problem of the whole problem is if someone blatantly says like they're not a Hitler apologist, like Andrew has said, no, I'm not a Hitler apologist. Lyin will say, you are still a Hitler apologist for justifying his actions, slandering Andrew.
That's what it is, though.
Okay,
that's
but
one example.
Okay, but why won't you take somebody's word just because they disagree with your line? Why do you think that you have that right to label them and call them a name just because they don't agree with you? Maybe they found different research. Maybe you should be asking to share research or resources.
I'll explain.
Why do we
Can I-
label?
All right, so let me explain, right? So if a person considers themselves a female, but they're male, I'm going to call them a male. So if a person is justifying Hitler's actions, whether they say that they're not a Hitler
we are
hold
not
on.
Oh my
comparing
God,
female
dude.
males.
Oh my
How
God.
is that even
comparable?
Wow, come
He's
on.
hiding behind the Bible. He
If
thinks that
no, hold
because
on. If you
no,
defend
you
Hitler's
hold on.
actions,
You always bulldoze everybody.
what's
Sorry,
going on,
Lyin.
dude? That was my
Cut
chance
it
to talk, and
out.
everybody wants
No,
to clip me.
you've been
Hold
talking.
on, no.
You-
it
no,
was directed
you
at
do
me,
this-
sweetheart. It was directed at me.
Okay, we're not going to
Hold on.
patronize.
Hold
we're
on,
not going to do that either.
hold on. So
This is
he
what you do all
literally defended Hitler's actions, right? That makes you a Hitler apologist. It doesn't mean that you have. It doesn't mean that you're a neo-Nazi. It doesn't mean that you have to have a Nazi on your chest or a swastika on your chest or anything like that. But that's what you are by default.
You're just
I'm a
labeling
Torah
someone.
observant, God
Not everything he
believing,
did was bad.
Sabbath keeping, Messiah Yehoshua, Jesus believing follower, and I question the narrative that we've gotten. And it's really sad that you are simply defending a faith that they were called Judeans because they lived in the area, right? Not propping up Yah's feast, Yah's laws, right? So I question the narrative. It doesn't make me a sympathizer. I'm a follower of the Most High. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister to the Messiah. I am waiting for his 1,000-year millennial reign. How dare you tell me that I'm a sympathizer to something that you were not there, and that there's a pushing a narrative, and we can't criticize a particular faith. Give me a break. It was always called the Torah, not Judaism. They were Judeans.
Redford. So the real crux of the issue, like I said, is the accusations and slander when someone clearly is not a Hitler sympathizer and not a Hitler apologist, but based off of Lyin's own standard, if you don't answer the exact way that he wants you to answer, then you're put on that list.
No. You guys are gaslighting me and projecting. It's insane. That's not the case at all. Why are you doing that?
You can't pull that card, Lyin. You cannot pull that card.
That's not the case at
okay,
all.
no, we're not going to be
Entire
pulling
night.
cards. Okay, no, please. I don't want to mute people. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
Lyin,
can't
did
say
you
that.
not just say if somebody, like, you were going to label them a Hitler apologist just because that's what they were because... I don't want to misquote.
That's literally the definition, though. Look up what an apologist is. Look up what an apologist is. If you start justifying Hitler's actions, however you want to chop it up, right? If you start justifying his actions, you're a Hitler apologist. I'm sorry to
What
break
about
it
if
to
you
you guys.
question them?
So if you and that doesn't mean that you're a neo-Nazi. That doesn't mean that you're a radical neo-Nazi.
Wouldn't you think that like even just being called an anti-Semite, being called like a Hitler apologist, do you think these are like weaponized terms perhaps that have like a really negative connotation? Okay, so then why are we labeling people with that when all we do in here is sit and like talk about and speculate and things like that? So why are we going to be picking this one?
It's my observation, right? And people are denying that there's Hitler apologists. That's my whole point. People are denying this is a real phenomenon, and it's in multiple servers.
But you don't have to call everybody out. You can even just have a conversation. Like, maybe I'm missing the whole thing, but
yeah, you guys are missing it because we've had conversations in here multiple times in the past. Not even this week. In the past, 6 months ago, we've had conversations, and people justify Hitler's expansion of Germany. They justify him doing what he did, and they deny any Jews died. No, this is a fact, bro. And I'm pointing this out. And people act like I'm delusional, and I'm putting people at the stand, and I'm using a false dilemma. When all I want people to do is condemn his actions and condemn Hitler. And just because you don't condemn Hitler doesn't mean that he's a good guy.
Why are you picking this hill to die on, Lyin? Like, out of all things, like, why do you not understand? Like, I mean, we can question these things, and I've heard people say we were not there, right? And you don't actually know what happened. You weren't there.
Out, according to him.
So questioning the narrative doesn't make you an apologist. Hold on. Questioning the narrative does not make you an apologist. People keep mislabeling me. Just because you question the narrative and you don't believe in the mainstream narrative, the embellishment and the numbers of Jews that were exterminated doesn't make you a Hitler apologist. It's when you go to the extreme other side and you accept the counter narrative that he was a good guy, that what he was doing was a good thing for Germany, that he didn't kill any Jews. And there are people in here that do have that stance.
It's a straw man. Also, look, man, you can't bitch that people are mislabeling.
Well, wait a minute.
That's what you're doing.
Who's the people that has that stance? Can you name one?
He just says there are some, and he's not going to.
Yeah, there's people that think that there's people think that no Jews were cremated and no Jews were gassed.
Oh, okay.
We've had this conversation before, dude.
That's different.
You just said it was okay to question that,
right?
No, it's okay to question it, but then to justify Hitler's expansion of Germany and that he didn't do anything wrong, right? That's when it becomes problematic.
Bro,
yes, because
Hitler
I also
pornography in the streets. I think that's pretty
right,
rad.
and I agree with you.
Make me a Hitler apologist. Like, it's just ridiculous.
No, not that part. Not that part.
Guys, I just want to ask for a mod. Like, I really don't think it's okay that Lyin's just gonna keep repeating himself and saying the same thing for like 2 minutes over and over again. It's getting exhaustive.
Here, this is what I want to say about this, Lyin. Like, I really encourage you. I'm just encouraging to really think about what you're doing here. You have a whole group of people that are trying to talk to you about this, and you're saying that we're gaslighting you, and we're not, man. Like, you really got to take a look at this because it's super narcissistic behavior. This all or nothing, this thing that like to try and label people and mislabel and virtue signal. That's what it looks like, and you're just not in the position to do that to other people, especially the people that you're claiming that you're going to be friends with. You know, like that's not, dude, no one's going to want to be your friend.
That's
fine, bro. You don't seem to. Well,
I'm not a people pleaser, dude. I'm not here to have friends. You guys are all internet personalities.
Okay,
I don't even know how you look like, dude. You know what I mean? You're a dude in the wall, bro. I have no idea who you are.
I'm a real boy.
Okay. That's good. Great. Okay.
It just needs to drop. I just encourage you to think about it, bro. That's it. I just encourage you.
So Redford,
yeah,
I gotta bring this up because really, Lyin can have his own opinion. That's fine. What I don't like is you putting people into a false dilemma. Say Hitler's a bad guy right now. If you're quiet, that must mean he's a great guy. See, got him. And then when we say that that's not something you should do, that's bad, that's a false dilemma, he goes, I'm okay with that. It's the Socratic method. Am I wrong or right? Did I just steal man that?
But that was at the end. If you watch the stream that new perspective put up, that was at the very end. That was after trying to pull teeth from you guys. Because you guys,
that's
it's like
just
trying to get.
night, man. He's talking
It's like
about
trying.
tonight.
Hold on, dude. Why are you clipping me? It's like trying to get Issa to condemn Trump, dude. Impossible. I can bring evidence forward over and over again. It's not enough, dude. I brought up all the evidence. Nobody's willing to just straight up say Hitler's a bad guy. Nobody wants to do that. And then finally, now after all of this, people are finally starting to say Hitler's a bad guy, and I'm glad
around and around we go. Okay.
I think we should get into Hitler.
I haven't said anything in like 20 minutes. Look, I just want to
hold on. No, stop.
No. I don't think. Okay, you guys. Like,
go ahead.
This is no. I want to say something. Like, okay, you guys have been going at this for hours, right? Like, Lyin, it seems like lots of people care about you. We want to work this out. But if we've been doing this in live stream, like maybe at this point we need to like take it off the live stream and just have like a couple people and try and talk it out. Maybe later, maybe tomorrow. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Because
we need
I don't
another
think this
4
is
hours
coming
of
to a
this.
resolution.
Okay, real quick. I want to offer one more thing to Lyin, real quick. Hey, bro. Let me just say this. I just want to say one thing.
No, I think because
why am I all of a
I'm
sudden not allowed to
sorry.
say
No, because if it's then it's gonna be you, then it's gonna be the next person, and then it's gonna be the next person. I really want to hear what Biasticles has to say about what I just said and what his opinion is on it.
Look, I didn't think it was this big of an issue until I came in here today. Galatrax has been on this for a while because he has a very disdain for liars, right? Now, when he first was coming with this accusation that Lyin is a liar, I was like, what? Lyin? No way. Like, what's going on? And then it turned into 6 hours of this, and then really the crux of it is the fact that Lyin doesn't want to admit that what he's doing is wrong. It's a false dilemma to put someone in a corner, and then if they don't answer the correct way, you paint them as a Hitler sympathizer and slander them, or slander an entire server. That is what's wrong. He needs to admit that that's wrong. He should not die on that hill, and if he wants to die on that hill, then let it be known that he is ruining his credibility. That's my opinion, and I'm done with it.
I want to add something positive to that real quick before Lyin responds, because I think what Lyin should consider, Lyin, can you consider that if we all objectively looked at the person that you're describing, this Nazi sympathizer person, right? And they do exist, where there's some extreme black and white version of history that someone's looking at, and they see Hitler as just a good guy, and everything we were told is completely false, and they're seeing it in black and white. I think if we all looked at that person objectively, the group here, we would say, oh, well, he's not being very intellectual about it. He's not very intelligent. So you're insulting people's intelligence by thinking that they're looking at it as this black and white thing, that Hitler is this good guy instead of what we were told, and he never did anything wrong. That would be like an unintelligent person in all of our opinion. So you're insulting people's intelligence by thinking they're interpreting history in this way that you're making it out to be, and it's completely false. So they're calling you a liar, rightly so, because you're wrong, not because you're actually intending to lie, but because you're completely wrong about your evaluation, and you're insulting people's intelligence at the same time. We don't know exactly what happened. That's the most honest position anyone could take. We don't know for sure about any of it. If you think you do know for sure, then you're not intelligent.
I have a
So you guys just want to keep going then, like another 3 hours, or what? Like, let's just go straight.
No, hold on. Let me respond to that. I deserve a response. Come on, real quick. I'll be concise. So with history, I already mentioned this. We're not going to achieve 100% certainty with anything of history, right? It's a different epistemological approach. I've already said this, but you don't want to turn into solips like the Globers. If it's not like, there's always gonna be that 1%. Well, I don't know. You don't want to be that guy, dude. That's solipsism. So with Hitler, you guys become solips because you can't trust the evidence. So you want to be neutral on the position, which is it's a comfortable position to be in. I'm not that dude. I go against Hitler. If you want to say that you're neutral, that's fine. But I don't find people being neutral with Hitler. I find people defending him. And if you defend Hitler, that literally makes you a Hitler apologist just by defending him by default.
You said being neutral makes you defend Hitler, though. You said if someone's neutral, they're defending Hitler. That was your position. You said that.
No. I didn't say that, dude. People are defending Hitler right now.
If I prove you said that, does that mean you just lied? Yes or no?
You did.
People defend Hitler on a regular basis in here, dude.
Hang on, brother. Hang on. Listen, you said if you take a neutral position, you're taking it because you want to defend Hitler. If I prove you said that, does that mean what you just said is a lie?
Well, hold on. The reason I said that is because it's a comfortable position when really, secretly, deeply inside, you guys. I don't know about you personally, but people support Hitler,
this obfuscation that we're talking about.
They defend Hitler, but they want to act. They want to act like they're neutral position because that way, when I confront them, right, it's a cop out. So when I confront every single individual that I believe to be a defender
this is that
of Hitler,
obfuscation we're talking about.
Why are you clipping
This is
me,
what
dude?
we're talking about, where we ask you a direct question. You said I didn't say that. I said if I prove you said that, does that make you a liar, right?
Bro,
and
but
you
I'm
said
clarifying.
I did say that.
Yeah, because
So
I don't
did you
believe
say
that
it or did you not say it? Yes or no?
I've had these conversations in here multiple times with certain
Did you
individuals
say it or did you not
that
say
defend
it?
Hitler's position.
Did you say it or did you not say it?
The fact
Stop.
that you defend Hitler's position,
Stop.
regardless
Stop
of how you want to chop it
obfuscating.
up, that doesn't make you neutral. You know that, right?
Stop
and just because Hitler
obfuscating.
did
Did
some
you
good
say
things,
it or
what, dude? You always want to control the conversation, bro.
Wait,
Stop,
real
dude.
quick. Lyin, I'm gonna make a comparison. Let me make a comparison real quick.
Hold on, let Gio talk, bro.
I'm gonna do a few mutes. You guys we gotta chill. This is okay. At this point, this is like almost like a public court case kind of thing, like because there's so many points, and it is linked to like this topic. It is linked to the world potentially, like the whole World War II, and then what happened. It's obviously a hot topic with like just a lot of things. Like Owen Benjamin and many other content creators have commented on many things related to all this, and many others as well. So obviously, it's like a heated topic for that reason. At this point, there's been like accusations made, and then everything else that's occurred. So I don't know. Like, remember, like a few hours ago, we're like, yeah, let's do it for 5 or 10 minutes, and now it's been quite a while. So and then the interruptions, like Galatrax. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I muted you for a sec, bro. I mean, you can't do that, man. You're just shouting over him, and it's complete audio chaos, dude. Like, we gotta go one at a time. Like, we can't just bulldoze through. Sorry, let me unmute whoever's muted.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Gio,
dude.
but that's the thing, though. We ask him a direct question. The reason why this has been going for so long is because we ask him a direct question. Is it a false dilemma? Oh, well, let me tell you. It's this. I'll go on for like 5 minutes. Did you say it or did you not say it? He's like, oh, I didn't say that. And then, okay, what if I prove you say it? Does that mean you just lied? Oh, well, let me go on about it. So did you say it or did you not say it? Why can't he just answer a fucking question? You want to know why? It's because he's dishonest. He's being dishonest.
Okay, well, what I was going to say real quick was Lyin. Here's a comparison that might help, and it might even get to a topic change soon after a response, right? If somebody came in here and they're questioning, they're new to the topic, right? And they're questioning whether the Earth is a spinning ball, right? And then you had a baller in here saying, "Look, history says it's a spinning ball, and if you don't say it's a spinning ball, you're a flat earther." And that's you're a sympathizer for the flat earthers. And yeah, if you don't support everything that the ball says, which is historical documents that's been verified by many people, and that's what they teach in schools, and it's the truth. And if you don't agree with that, then you're a flat earther. And someone's just trying to figure out the truth, and you're all of a sudden labeling them because they're questioning what we've been told about the narrative of the spinning ball, rightly so. And they don't know what to think yet, right? No one knows exactly what to think, but you're all completely satisfied with your decision about what it is and forcing everyone else to adopt that opinion. Or there's some kind of a sympathizer, which is like a very weird way of going about it. Just make it a conversation, bro.
Too late for that, Dave.
Can I get a little clarity, Lyin? Let me just okay, dude. This is what I kind of heard. Like, okay, I know there's a lot with all this that's been going on because I wasn't like present for some of those other times, but I heard like there was like a clip from it I listened to and whatnot. Lyin, okay, with this whole like false dilemma thing that's being discussed, when you said that to him, when you're like, basically, like say right, that whole thing when you kind of like said like he had to say it right then. Lyin, are you yourself saying that if he hesitated or didn't respond, and if you're going to do this with other people in the future or whatever, if they hesitate or they don't respond, or they don't, they respond in a way that you think is sketchy or whatever it may be, are you actually saying that you are going to then publicly label them as this? Are you personally saying all of that, or because then that's I guess what the false dilemma, like the idea of like the completion of it. But I mean, that's a question for Lyin. Like, are you actually saying that, or was that just like a thing you did in the moment, the heat of the moment, as like effect for the intensity or whatever? Like more.
Yeah, that was after a half-hour discussion, trying to pull teeth, right? Because you have to understand, Gio, that even after that, that's an indication. It's not 100% proof of anything, right? Of what position he has. It's an indication. It's indicative, right? The Socratic method is I'm just using that as a line of questioning to get information out of him. But the information that I'm getting out of him is not conclusive. I never said that. But again, when people, they choose a convenient position, which is the neutral position, right? When really they're defending Hitler's position. So if you defend Hitler's actions and justify Hitler's actions, that doesn't make you neutral, bro. That actually makes you a Hitler apologist. And I'm being criticized saying, no, I'm not a Hitler apologist. Meanwhile, these people literally defend his position and justify his expansion of Germany.
So, fun fact, I was actually taught in school that that's why the laws changed. Because Hitler, if he would have gone on trial, well, he would never have been convicted for any murders. What does that make me? Apparently that was a fact. I was taught.
Put her on the list.
That doesn't put you on the list. No, stop, Biastic, please.
Wait.
Like just questioning. No. Again, I already made this
disclaimer.
I already made the disclaimer and clarified so many times, and people just keep mischaracterizing me. It's crazy. So just
Guys,
because you
please,
question the narrative
you made a lot
and you
of
set
claims
the record
about me,
straight,
I just want to address
hold
them,
on.
please.
Why are you still talking?
No, wait. You just went on for 2 minutes making claims about me. I'd like to address them.
She asked me a question, dude.
Right, but you just made a lot of claims about me, and I'd like to address them, please. If you're,
All right,
being good faith, let me do that.
Sorry, I was making a joke.
damn,
Bad timing.
Questioning the narrative does not make you. Questioning the
there's
narrative
something- hold on,
does
Lyin,
not
hold
make
on,
you a
hold on.
Hitler apologist. It's defending and justifying his
You're just
position.
gonna do it again?
Questioning the narrative does not make you a Hitler apologist. Right? Not believing the 6 million Jews exterminated does not make you a Hitler apologist. What makes you a Hitler apologist for the last time, I hope you guys understand this, is justifying Hitler's actions. Go ahead.
Am I a Hitler apologist, Lyin?
Okay, wait. I just want to respond to some things. Lyin, you said I had to do what I did, which was the false dilemma, by the way, because for 30 minutes no one was answering. The things leading up to your question, I said, I don't believe that Hitler was a good guy. And I repeated myself. I don't believe that Hitler was a good guy. Then you asked me, do you think that Hitler was a good guy? Don't hesitate, just say it, right? And I said, I don't believe that Hitler was a good guy. So if I said it twice, the answer to your question, right? Because then you're like, oh, well, I guess that solves it. If I said it twice before your question, how does that mean that I was avoiding it if my answer was the same as the thing that I just said twice? That's the first thing. The second thing, right? You said to me, if you play neutral, you're just doing that so you can pretend that you're neutral to defend Hitler. You said that. And then tonight, you just said, oh, I didn't say that. And then me and Beast both said, no, don't interrupt me, man. Stop. Then me and Beast both said, you said that. And you said, oh, yeah, I said that because. This is what I mean by you're a compulsive liar. Because you just say that. You'll say, oh, I didn't say that without even thinking about what we're saying to you. That's a compulsive lie.
Hold on. So when I say I didn't say that, it's because you're not. That's not what I implied, right? You're mischaracterizing me. You're framing me in a different context than what I intended for it to mean. That's when I say I didn't say that, that's what I mean. And I just said it, dude, that you take the convenient position. So now you're saying that I didn't say that you took the convenient position. When I said that, yes, you're taking that neutral position because it's convenient.
Okay, so I just called you out for 2 lies, and nothing you just said addressed anything that what I said.
No, bro. Like you guys just keep mischaracterizing me. I'm trying to clarify everything that I'm saying, right? That there are people that are Hitler apologists, that there are people that hate Jews, and you guys are acting.
Okay,
No,
you've already said this a dozen times. No one
wants
wants to hear it again.
That's the main
no one wants to hear this shit again, man.
Okay, since we're on trial,
you keep
I have a
deflecting to
question
this.
about
This
Lyin
is one
and
question.
what he said. You stated, Lyin, that you justify. That's what you call them, a Hitler apologist. So Galatrax has said, "I'm not this. I'm not this," but then you call him that he is because you said that one justifies Hitler's actions. So in your mind, how does one justify Hitler's actions instead of just like stating facts or
Good
what?
question.
So yeah, when you justify Hitler, he had good reason, right? It was good of him to do what he did.
So
I did it before you asked me the question. I did before you asked me the question. You acted like you asking me is what made me do it. I said it twice. Then you asked me. I said it again. So it was like it was such a weird moment, man.
Wait, Lyin, you realize that the assumption that Hitler did all these bad things and then people are supporting the bad things he did is not at all accurate. No one's supporting any bad things that Hitler did. It's only about questioning what we were told he did or didn't do, which no one can know for sure, no matter how good your method is.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. We'll never know with 100% certainty. That's not a cop out, though. Don't use that as a cop
No,
out.
you're
That's what
acting
people
like
are doing,
100%
and they want to
certainty.
act
When
neutral.
you compare them
bro.
to no, when you say someone's either a boy or a girl, right? They're either a Hitler sympathizer or they're not. You're making it black and white with 100% certainty in the way that you're applying it, which isn't at all intelligent, and you're insulting people's intelligence at the same time. We don't know what to believe.
By the way, you got
about any
hold
of
on.
it.
Order in the court. By the way, this is why in courts, this is why they have like very specific, like who gets to talk and who doesn't, and they have the judge that can overrule and could get order in the court. This is why, because if you have someone up on the stand, you know, on the witness stand, they start saying something, someone's good. Well, they have objections too, and all that too, though. I mean, objection and. You know, it's kind of what you guys are doing, but the only way you can object with, unless we have a setup for it, is just to interrupt. So you guys are doing interruption objections. But
Okay, Rick wants to get in. Apparently,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I didn't hear you. Go for it.
I just want to outline quickly the minuscule amount required to be accused by Lyin for Nazism support. Essentially, I outlaid before that the reason why Hitler came to power was because of economic circumstances putting social pressure on the people that rose him up into power. He says that rises to the claim of Nazism. Do you still hold that position, Lyin?
No, dude, I didn't see. You guys just consistently, incessantly, just keep mischaracterizing me, misrepresenting me over and over and over again, and I had to clarify my position over and over again. This is
it doesn't
crazy.
matter. Let's not complain about it. Then clarify to him. He's asking you a direct question. Don't get into like, oh, I've already just state what he's asking.
Yes, I'll say it
I
again.
mean, it's almost like a musician that sings the same song every night. I know it's in that way only because, I mean, if this is what we're doing, We're doing this like kind of like court case style type discussion. Then you may have to get used to kind of repeating yourself. So instead of going into attacking them, just give us your position because I think we're all trying to understand.
Just do clear-cut answers.
I'm a nationalist. Hitler was a nationalist. Right? Just because I believe in nationalism and Hitler believes in nationalism doesn't make me a Hitler apologist. Right? He did good things. He did certain things that were good. That doesn't make you a Hitler apologist if you agree with some of the good things he did. What makes you a Hitler apologist is that you defend the radical stuff that Hitler did, like the expansion of Germany, the racial superiority, stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Well, just to let you know, just one sec, Lyin, before I outlaid basically the same premise in a different set of words, and you accused me of being a Hitler supporter and all the rest of it, right? So I would say at that point that you're very trigger happy with that terminology and that application of a label towards someone else. Dude, you just disagreed with yourself it was about 2 hours ago or something, but now you're retracting it. I think you seem to have cooled off a bit or something. Is that right?
No, bro. It's just there's a lot of gaslighting going on, and like it's like unconditional support, right? Unconditional support
I was on your list, and then I'm taken off your list.
Gosh,
I was on your list 2 hours ago. Now I'm off your list.
Same here.
Same question.
You're still no. I didn't say you're off the list. You're actually still. You're still questionable, bro. Honestly,
he's got a list, Redford Baird. He's got a list. Do you see this shit,
bro?
Jeremy has a list too, but usually it's just for people to talk. It's not like a bad list.
What's gonna happen? His list, people are constantly getting put on and taken off and put on and taken off. It's really a weird list.
Yeah, but Jeremy
is the list just a personal list, or is it going somewhere? Is it?
I don't have an actual list, bro.
No,
wait. Hold on. We gotta go one at a time. But hold on, I was gonna say, but we all know that Jeremy's list doesn't really exist.
Wait,
Jeremy's list doesn't exist. He just says he has a list because it's a funny thing to say.
But the problem is, Gio, with this kind of accusatory speeches that Lyin goes down on, like, you're a Hitler sympathizer, you're a Nazi sympathizer. Oh, you know what? Never mind. You've proven yourself otherwise. Let me take you off my list. Do you understand that this is a horrible crusade to go down? And you're you're basically making slanderous statements, especially to people who aren't in this room right now, who can't even defend themselves because they have no idea how to address the criteria of said list. But then when they come in here and defend themselves, then all of a sudden now I'm off the list. Oh, did I meet your criteria, bro? Do you understand why this is a bad move? Like, you shouldn't put people in a position like this.
Nope. I'm calling it out how I see it, bro. Maybe my lenses are messed up. I need new lenses or something.
And he won't back down. This is the problem.
Not back, dude.
Well, that's good. That's a good admittance, then, Lyin. That's a good admittance.
Yes, Lyin. Oh, sorry, Gio. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, I mean, are you trying to like lose friends, Lyin? Like, what? Why are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's kind. I'm kind of saying that. I'm saying that hyperbolically, but like, are you trying to like just lose?
No,
like,
I'm not, dude. I'm not trying to lose friends. But if I lose friends over what I truly believe, then so be it, dude. Because what I'm seeing is people that literally have defended Hitler, and now nobody wants to act like they were that person. And that's fine, bro. I guess I'm the bad guy, dude. And I'm gonna listen. I came into this world by myself, and I'm gonna leave this world by myself.
Yep.
I don't need any of you. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not a groupie, dude. I don't suck up to any of the mods. I don't care, bro. Go ahead,
Lyin. Let me just say this. I think that when you look back on this, you might have thought that maybe your discernment wasn't that great with dealing with the conversation, where you want people to trust your discernment about analyzing the history. And that's the irony in it. Like, you want people to think that you've got the answer to what Hitler was and what you should think about him. But your discernment in handling this hasn't made anyone trust your discernment and
besides
analyzing
that,
anything.
perspective, he's a Christian. I'm a Christian. I hold him in a higher standard. Like, this is bearing false witness, and he's totally okay with that. Like, that's fucked up, dude. You are losing friends over this, and you're losing your credibility.
Oh well.
I would like
You're
to
okay
make
with
that,
bearing false witness.
I'm trying to still give you a chance to not be so stubborn there, Lyin, but you're going to continue to be stubborn. I don't
just
get
know if he makes any accusatory or slanderous statements about anybody, I would ask them first before you believe his word. And I'm done with this. I'm out of here.
You've been out of here, bro. Go chill over there.
No, so I think a big point is that with all of the criteria that is being made to say that somebody is a Nazi apologist is so broad to a degree that is not in the way that anybody else would understand that term to be used, and in the way that you're using that term of like, what is the criteria for being a Nazi apologist is so broad to the point to where it's entirely meaningless to most people. And when you say somebody is a Nazi apologist, other people think like really, really dramatic things that are way more intense of Nazi apologism than what you're actually meaning by that term.
Yeah, there's so much baggage to go along with that claim.
That's
so much
correct.
baggage.
Everything he just said, that's a statement in my position. Thank you.
There's so much that you're implying, dude, that isn't true. And you must know that. You're intelligent enough to realize that what you're saying implies a lot more than maybe you even mean it to. But the words imply all of it, the worst of it, to anybody hearing it. And you're saying, I don't care. I'm going to die in that hill. Everyone that I've called out is what I think still, just to be stubborn. When you intellectually can see that it's way more than that, dude. It's like you're implying something that you're not even defining it or even saying particularly what people are saying is good. You're saying that people are saying bad things Hitler did was really good because they're like totally like some kind of like bigoted person. You're implying all these things. You're basically accusing people of being prejudiced when that's not even the case.
That's
dude.
also
We're way
that's
beyond
also the
that
case.
here.
No, that's not true, bro.
That's
There is prejudice and discrimination.
You're calling people simple-minded.
There's people
you're being simple-minded yourself about it, and you're calling people simple-minded. They're not like black and white. Oh, I hate Jews. No one's doing that. They're saying that what we were told wasn't the truth, and maybe being hyperbolic and sarcastic themselves, and you're taking them seriously, and then being hyperbolic and sarcastic at the same time, admittedly.
That's an interesting point.
Dave, listen, bro. I've sat here and I've listened to people critique the Jewish people for a long time, dude. I sat back, I let it slide. I let it slide, bro.
And he's trying to hide
is, bro, if it like for example,
Bible up.
if we
wait, hold on, Blaze, wait, Blaze. Well, I want to hear your viewpoint, but can you go after him? Okay, you'll get the full mic time because I want to hear your viewpoint too, but we just can't hear you both at the same time. Lyin, do you want to finish?
Yes, so use the N word as an example, right? Instead of
hold on, Blaze is next, so just let Blaze go next. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lyin.
I mean, after I don't know if all right. So
sorry,
so
I just mean after Lyin. Sorry, go ahead.
So if people just constantly brought up niggers, right? And then they're like, well, I'm not talking about like all black people. I'm just talking about niggers. Like, dude, you don't see how like crazy that sounds? Like people constantly talk about the Jews. I'm expressing my grievances about Jewish hate in these servers, and then some also Nazi affinity, and I'm being called delusional when it's been something that's been going on for a while now. I let it slide. Now all I'm doing is expressing my grievances, and I'm being labeled delusional. I'm liar, this and that. You understand that where I'm coming from, bro?
But rather than address that, when that comes up, if someone's making a broad statement about Jews, then at that time, that's when you bring up the point. Look, I disagree with your opinion or the way that you're labeling a whole group of people, and maybe we should talk about the Zionists or certain things people did rather than saying the Jews, which I agree with, by the way. The Jews is you brought in most people that even would say that know better, and that's true. Bring it up at the time, but instead you're making it a witch hunt and calling people out and saying, "You agree with me right now? Who in here has to stand up and defend this position that I'm totally straw manning, and then I'm going to label you that regardless of what you say afterwards because I've got this whole idea about what that person." It's like just take a step back, bro. Just look at it objectively. It's all about the conversation, not about what somebody is or isn't in this whole weird. I mean, there are people like that, but I don't think anyone here is like you're describing whatsoever. It's bigoted. You're calling people bigots, and no one in here is like that.
He's being a bigot.
Blaze was next.
Pointing out bigots.
Blaze was next. Hold on, guys. Blaze was next.
It's just wild that, you know, it's the same thing that we go out in the world and we all face. If, you know, like a post on Instagram or whatever, it's the pews, it's the pews, it's the pews, whatever, or, you know, we question something. And it's like, it's not everybody. And, you know, Messiah was from the tribe of Judah, right? He wasn't practicing Judaism. What is Judaism, right? So it's the Torah, right? It's not the Torah and the Talmud, right? So which is it? You can't have it both. So for me, I have no problem questioning being a believer of the Hebrew God, of the Hebrew Bible, and my Hebrew Messiah. I have no problem questioning the narrative that we got in the World War II, right? So there's the Torah and those followers of the Torah, right? And I'm pretty sure not everybody over in that land right now is from or was related to anybody from Judea, right? Messiah came to expose religion and Pharisees and the Sadducees, right? They were the really hyper tradition dogmatic people, right? So there's a conflation going on right here. You observe the Sabbath, and I'm really almost done. You observe the Sabbath, you observe the Torah. So do I, right? But what do those people like over there do? They're mostly hold up the Talmud. So there's a distinction. Not everybody was from Judea, and I don't think that those people can prove that they were from Judea. That's all that meant. Jewish, that's another religion that Messiah came to expose.
I just had a suggestion for Lyin, which is, you know, if someone wants to take the neutral approach, I think it's better to propose a hypothetical question instead of your first instinct to put a label on them. And the hypothetical would be that if the claims about Hitler and his actions around Nazi Germany or the Holocaust or elimination of Jews are true, then would you consider him a bad guy? And I think if they don't want to answer that, then I think their intentions are pretty clear.
Well, no.
I'm good. I want to end. Can we end this? It's midnight, guys. Come on, man.
Yeah, let's end it.
Can we
let's
just
end
end
it.
this? I'm tired.
I would just say consider.
I don't want to lose my temper,
reconsider.
bro.
Reconsider, man, and don't lose friends over this bullshit, man. I think you're misapplying things that are bigger labels than you're intending them to be. You say Nazi sympathizer or Hitler sympathizer. There's a lot that goes with that implication, and I don't think you're even meaning it that way, but you're saying it as if you do.
No. Can we just end it? But the reason this all happened is because I'm getting frustrated because people are acting like this isn't a real phenomenon in these communities. Like none of you guys are guilty of this. Nobody's ever hated on the Jews. Nobody's ever defended Hitler. I'm making all this up. I'm being delusional.
Dude,
That's why I'm getting
you're
frustrated.
going way overboard with
and,
it.
and
Yeah.
I'm over it, dude. I'm over it,
You
dude.
know
Can we
what,
just end it?
Lyin? We can definitely stop it. I'm all for that. But now you're blanket, like I just hear you, and I get you're probably frustrated. Like it sounds like you guys been going right. You guys been going at this for hours. But now you're like blanket kind of statement saying everything. Like, oh, everybody does this. Everybody says this. It's like, well,
there's plenty of people in here that have done it.
There's
though.
people that don't want to admit it, and they're in here
Yeah,
and they're
there really
hiding
is.
from my
There really is.
accusations. Dude, think about that approach, dude, how it comes
Bro,
off. It's
this-
like some
it's
baller in
fine,
here
dude.
saying everybody in here is a flat earther.
So you never
They
made fun
are
of
not
the Jews?
supporting the globe. My interpretation of history is right. And if they don't agree with me, then they're this thing that has a lot of baggage, and I'm going to label them that. I don't care. I'm going to be
Okay. All right. Okay, so are we done? Do we have a new topic?
I'm done.
I don't think you want to do that, dude. I love you, Lyin.
I'm all
Lyin.
set.
I love you,
I'm
bro.
all set.
I still love you. And I
I
don't
love you
want I
too,
don't
bro.
want to
This
not
has
be your
nothing-
friend. So I'm trying to help. I'm not trying
That's
to
another thing.
Hold
Even
on.
if
So, you guys, let me just get the mic for a sec. Can't a lot of this be summed up, like I was saying before, like JEW or JEWS, the word Jew, Jews, etc. Like, isn't it the case that that can mean different things? And so, if people are throwing that term around, I mean, Lyin, could it be a lot the case that people may throw it around and you may have your own perception of how they said it? It may not be what their intention was, may or may not be, but like instead of full blown doing the accusations, maybe just have the conversation, get to know people better, get to know their viewpoints better, and then we can build together and learn more each other's perspectives instead of as much of the personal going at people.
Yeah, for sure. I just
when the ether is spinning 1,000 miles an hour.
All I can do is